Hello, Durud and Shalom and Ola. I'm going to add this when Monkey is here. Hello, Durud and Shalom and Ola. Okay. Okay.
Hola, hola.
Ola.
Hello, Durit, Shalom, and hola.
Yeah. Are you feeling good today, Monkey? What are you when it comes to what's happening in the news? Are you optimistic? Are you disappointed? Are you somewhere in between? How are we feeling?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Cautious. Why?
The things that are happening are good, but the rhetoric is ambiguous, so it's hard to be sure about what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
I'm happy with Rubio. Like everything out of Rubio's mouth makes me happy. I just saw like a half-hour interview with him. It was fantastic. I love that guy.
Hmm. Trump is speaking more aggressively than ever before, and the red lines do seem to be more specific. Does that mean anything to you or nothing? We just have to see what happens.
Well, I haven't seen this, right? There's like me, I may have not have seen his most recent statements, but there's red lines I never liked. Like I never liked nuclear as a red line.
No, like for example, what about yesterday's red lines where President Trump posted on Truth Social, if the Islamic Republic hits for every ship that they hit, they're going to hit a power plant or a barrage, including in Tehran. What do you think about that?
That's the optimistic, like in that sentence, optimistic, but it was based on that. That's yes. I love that. More of that. We need more of that. Everybody says it.
Okay, let's get everybody on the same page just by just two short videos so we all know what's happening, and then we get into more details.
In the Middle East, the U.S. launching a 12th night of crushing strikes on Iran after Trump's latest threat, vowing to destroy a bridge or power plant if Tehran strikes any ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it's only going to get worse if Iran keeps going back on their word.
Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price. And every night the price gets higher and higher and higher. And that's what's happening now.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yanks live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. U.S. forces struck Iran for a 12th straight night. CENTCOM says these strikes were once again focused on degrading Iran's ability to threaten vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM said in a statement more than 50,000 U.S. service members are operating across the Middle East and remain highly vigilant, focused, lethal, and ready. This follows a new warning from President Trump on Wednesday when he posted to Truth Social saying, from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. While no vessels were attacked in the strait overnight, a Saudi-owned oil tanker was targeted in the Red Sea by Houthi forces in Yemen. President Trump spoke yesterday from Georgia about the ongoing conflict.
This is big. They finally did something. Look at this here one more time. This is huge development.
Oil tanker was targeted in the Red Sea by Houthi forces in Yemen. President Trump spoke.
So this is major escalation. So the Houthis actually are doing things. This means that insurance canceled. This means that commercial ships are without insurance now, and they're not going to go through Bab el-Mandeb because of this one attack. I don't know what it's going to do to Brent. Let me see. Where are we at now? This is probably why we went so high, right? I don't know why I'm not seeing. This is. I heard we got up to all the way to 95, but why is it showing less for me? I don't understand. What am I looking at? Okay. I'll have to see why my sources are not updated, because everybody in the news were saying 95. I think they're talking not about Brent. Maybe they're talking about the Western Texas thing. Maybe that's the one. But let me see.
Yesterday from Georgia about the ongoing conflict and the possibility of negotiations.
They're getting hit so hard, and they want to make a deal. But I say they're not ready to make a deal. Because every time they make a deal, they want to change it and everything. They're not ready. They'll be ready very soon. And this is despite this. It's going on.
The Iranians have also released new statements over the past 24 hours, with the country's top negotiator, Mohammad Ghalibaf, saying on X, if our security is not ensured, no infrastructure will be safe, and the security of the Strait lies in the absence of American forces. We have said many times that the situation in the Strait will not return to the way it was before the war. Overnight, Iran launched new attacks against U.S. bases in Kuwait, with additional attacks expected today. Here in Israel, the current assessment is the conflict will likely escalate in the days ahead. This country is bracing for the possibility of incoming Iranian missile fire.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the
Wait, so let's go to Marco Rubio. This is what everybody is talking about now. And before that, we just got Stick and Beans with thank you so much for 10 membership gifts to the people in the chat. Thank you, Stick and Beans. Always supporting us. Thank you so much. Monkey, you start this. You want to talk about this?
Yes, the Insomniac is saying the House voted 214 to 208. Now I know there was an earlier vote that passed in our favor. I'm wondering if this is the same vote. So chime in the comments if this is something recent or if that's the earlier vote. You were saying Marcus Rubius Floridicus Cubanicus, first of his name, my GOAT. I love this guy. I mean, I can't wait to hear him.
Yeah,
Such a great guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at Chad.
Wait, there were two different things that the House had to vote for, right? Both the 1.5 trillion, but there was a near time
War powers was what he was saying.
Million something. There was two things that the House
Two
had
budgets?
to vote for. Yeah, but I think there was one for this war and then one overall budget per year. I'm not, I'll look into that. I think they both passed. I heard they both passed when I was on the Persian Discord server, but I didn't double check it myself. But let me just double check it right now. Because if they pass, that's fantastic. And you were right, Monkey, yesterday that when I said would it pass, you were like, oh yeah. So you're right. Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna
pass. So it did pass. Okay, the U.S. House of Representatives successfully passed a record 1.15 trillion annual defense authorization bill to fund military readiness and personnel. In a second vote, the House approved a $95 billion budget package containing over 70 billion dedicated to active content operations against the Iranian regime.
We got the money to hit him.
Yes. So now the hands of the United States is completely untied to do what they need to do.
Yeah. I mean, resolutions are one thing, but budgets, now we have to spend the money. We can't misappropriate it for something else. No. We got about it.
Okay, so Texas in the chat is saying, but resolutions are non-binding and resolutions are meaningless. So is this like not a big deal?
Yeah, resolutions are not the budget. The budget that's not the same thing. What they're talking about is the wartime powers, like a resolution about the wartime powers. I think that's what she's talking about. Because as far as I know, the budget is like a house power it's one of the strongest powers that they have. They hold the purse strings. So once, you kind of can reallocate money within the military budget, but if it's specifically asked for and assigned to this, it would be very difficult to assign it to something else. Yeah, the war powers resolutions is basically scolding the president.
Oh, okay. So that's something different you guys are talking about, because what the House passed is basically a defense legislation that creates binding federal law governing military funding and policy. Monkey, you have a lot of background noise. When I'm speaking, can you mute your mic? When I'm speaking?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So unlike a non-binding resolution, what the House just passed, so you guys were talking about the War Powers Act, but what the House passed, just to be clear, this is actually binding military funding and policy once it's enacted. This legislative vote directly authorizes over 1.15 trillion in binding military expenditures, including critical operational funding directed against the Iranian regime in the Persian Gulf. So, yep, guys, your military is now fully funded to go back to boom booms. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Texas was telling us budgets is where the real talking is.
Which was this that just got passed, right?
Exactly. That's not a scolding. You're not telling, hey, we think this. Budgets are like, that's where the real power is in the Congress.
The power of purse, is that what it's called?
The power of the purse. Yes. So when they all this, when the vote comes in and we decided this is where it's going, you can't just roll that back. That's assigned for the year, and then whatever you want to argue about, it's got to be for next year.
Okay, cool. Let's wait. Let's see Marco Rubio, because a lot of people are complimenting Marco Rubio on what he was. He was in the Philippines, which is really good because they're creating unity in East Asia against China, against the CCP. So that's pretty good that that's happening. But he obviously a lot of the conversation there was about Iran. So let's listen to this.
Iran is begging us. Okay, both direct.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to notice is that he's there's been an effort to start calling the Indo-Pacific to kind of like tie all these places together as an area that we're all united. Like we're talking Philippines, Thailand, I think, well, I'm not sure about Thailand, but Philippines, Australia, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam. Like all these people are kind of coming together and working together, which I think is fantastic. And Marco Rubio is over there making sure that happens.
Yeah. So I'll just add something, but then after that, let's really focus on Iran, this Iran situation. You're completely right. And the whole Indo-Pacific terminology was started by the former assassinated Prime Minister of Japan. He wanted to connect everything that was happening in that neighborhood as strategically tied to the Indian Ocean and everything to make that entire thing and strategically globally important, and now it's successful. Americans picked it up from the Japanese, and now that's what's happening. Anyways, let's go back to Iran. Yes.
Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price, and every night the price gets higher and higher and higher, and that's what's happening now. And until maybe in a few days, they'll be ready to make a deal once they realize that this is not a winning proposition for them. And that's what the president is outlining. The idea that this is going to continue, it's not going to continue this way. The price will continue to get higher every single night until they come to their senses. Right now, apparently they haven't come to their senses. And so the president doesn't see a lot of utility in responding to their overtures at this point, because frankly, Iran is clearly not ready to make a deal, at least not one they're willing to live by.
Yeah, I specifically predicted this. This was obvious that this is going to happen if anybody understands the nature of the Islamic Republic and the divisions that are among them and the people who are making the deal when they go home. If you understand the internal political dynamics of the Islamic Republic, as I know Marco Rubio surely knows as well, and he probably predicted that this would happen as well, is that once they get home after they made a deal, they have to deal with all of the internal pressure that they have to somehow satisfy and guarantee that they didn't give up too much. And then they promise the world to the Americans, and once they go home, their hands are completely tied because of all of the not just the ideological pressure camp people, the Paidari camp, because that's just the front face of it. The actual reason why there's resistance against this is not purely ideological, it's economical, right? Because there are many elements of the IRGC that make too much money from the isolationism, from the command economy, from the anti-Americanism and anti-Zionism. There's too much money to give up if they wanted to actually do the things that the Americans want. Their entire wealth and power depends on that model. So when you see the ideological pressure camp coming out and putting pressure on the negotiation facing track of the Islamic Republic to not do the things that they promised the Americans to do, it's not just because of Islam, Durka, Islam, jihad, let's kill all Americans. It's because of money, and the ideological pressure camp is the face of the real powers that are making billions and billions of dollars behind the scene. This is like a lot more strategic and based on wealth and power than many people realize. A lot of people try to reduce this to just a bunch of crazy people not being rational. It's the non-rational crazy people are the tools for the people who know where their money is coming from. Does that make sense?
Well, if I may add to that, what happens here is that people that are risen through nepotism and cronyism fear meritocracy. So that's why they don't want to let go of a command economy that gives them positions over the cronyism, who you grow up with, who you know, and nepotism, whose kid you are, right? This is why I advocate for locking Iran, the IRGC out of all platforms. Do not let them contact you over the phone, over the WhatsApp, over the Tinder, over the Grinder, over the Ouija board. If you're talking to Mustafa, do not let them call. They have to say it publicly.
Right, guys. Guys, what I said, what I explained, guys, in the chat. Let me know if it made sense, because that was what I said is a really important understanding of the structure of the Islamic Republic that I need you guys, because I studied the Islamic Republic for more than 20 years in a very detailed way. So when I say to you what's happening, I need to, because I want to make sure that you guys, I'm trying to pass on that knowledge to you guys. And I need to make sure that I'm explaining it in a way that you guys understand. So communicate with me if that made sense, or if it was useful when I say stuff like that. Okay. So Bobaism, thank you so much for the super chat. Bobaism is saying Rubio plus Trump 2028. That would be something. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? That would be something. Okay. People are saying yeah, made sense. Thank you guys.
They
I
fear
really
meritocracy.
Yeah, guys, I really thank you so much for your positive feedbacks, because again, you're not going to get this level of explanation, detailed explanation anywhere, I promise you, for any with regards to the internal structure of the Islamic Republic, anywhere else. So let me know if it's thank you for everything that you guys for letting me know that it's helping out.
Yeah, it's not just
Okay.
religious. They want to keep control because it's very much their power base and their money base. They need the control. Like, it's not just, oh, they're dark, it's religion. No. There's a little more to it than that. A lot more.
Exactly. Let me see what he's saying. There's Lego. Oh my God, Lego videos. This is great.
Because the price they're paying is very high, despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately. Which country is it? Oh, I can't tell you who told me. Because the
Lego videos. I think he watches them. He watches them. But if you haven't watched them, watch the hater one. It's pretty good. I do think
Some of those
the
hate
Lego
are
videos
hilarious.
Yeah, I do think the Lego videos were uniquely educational about the internal philosophy of the ideological pressure camp segment of the Islamic Republic. Because if you understand the nuances of what they're saying and why are they saying it, the Lego videos were pretty good in figuring that out, in my opinion. But wow, we're getting what is this? Years ago, let me see. Oh, we have a Truth Social post by President Trump. Let's go to that first, and before I go to the next video by Marco Rubio. Okay. Monkey, do you want to only tell me you want to read it if you feel like it?
I got my throat ready. I'm willing to go.
Okay,
Willing
go
to
ahead.
go. A year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time, and during our conflict with Iran, they have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they are starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth serve to represent that if they do it again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible in that the Houthis are the surrogate and or proxy of Iran. And major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran and, of course, the Houthis themselves. Who I am very disappointed with. Okay, who I am very disappointed. Sometimes his syntax kind of like, you're like, where is he going? Who I am very disappointed with, in that they have, until now, acted very professionally and smart. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Trump. Sometimes he puts in like, so you're kind of giving them a compliment for what when they weren't sticking their nose in, but you're mixing it in with telling them, back the fuck off, and it kind of throws me off. You've been very responsible, but fuck off. You've been very responsible, but I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Like he's mixing it up in there.
Okay, but it's good to know that you like Americans also struggle with this sometimes, because sometimes when I struggle with it, I think like it's just me. But okay, but that's good that I know.
No. Everyone in the chat will tell you. Sometimes reading him is different. Hearing him, when you hear him, you okay, I get what he's saying. But reading him is not as easy.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. In the previous video, Marco Rubio, he was asked a question. Okay, before actually we go to there, what do you think about this post regarding the Houthis? Do you think what is President Trump is going to do? Here's what I think the solution to the Houthi situation is: unleash Israel on them. When it comes to the Middle East, the solution to a lot of problems is either Israel or the Iranian people. And when it comes to Houthis, the solution is just unleash Israel on them. They know what to do. And now they have Somaliland as an ally as well, which is right across the water. And they have so much, they have so much dominance over them because they're right there. And the last time the Israelis bombarded the Houthis, it was really paralyzing. So the Houthis have three weaknesses right now: Israelis, the Somaliland being an ally of Israel, and the internal uprising and the support for the official government against them. It is possible that if you just unleash all of that on them, you could just get rid of the Houthis once and for all. So, and this would not even require a single cent for being spent on this by the American military. Just let Israel do its thing, and I think you get the Houthi problem solved.
Well, this is my theory. My theory is what we're saving Israel for is final targeting data and where they are exactly in Iran. I think when they get let loose, it's going to be in Iran, and it's going to be to take out the IRGC heads, like all of them. When they're going to say, well, hey, all heads got to roll, that's where Israel is going to come in. I think it's basically, it's an ace in the pocket of freedom. Like freedom has an ace in its pocket, and that ace is Israel. We're not going to take that out until it's absolutely necessary, right? That's freedom's ace in the pocket. That's Israel. I think what we could do is we should let loose Djibouti on them. Djibouti has bases. It has a United States base. We could let the U.S. strike from Djibouti. We could have France. Okay. France has a base there. This is serious talk. You can't just make fun of the analysis.
All right. Before we go to a whole talk about Djibouti, let's maybe respond to some chat. And the people in the channel, why not the Saudis? Because the Saudis suck at military operations. They already, Soapbox is also saying Saudis should handle it. They're the ones being solely targeting. They're the ones being solely targeted, and they have an enormous military, which they don't know how to use. The Houthis used to be a lot weaker, and the Saudis had all the most expensive American weapons, and they were at war with them for 7 years. How long was that? The war with the Houthis, and they couldn't do anything about the Houthis. It doesn't matter how big their military is honestly not that big, that they have just a lot of expensive equipment that they bought from the Americans, but they just suck at using it. They don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't just pay for other people's military equipment. They should also pay for the personnel. If they want to work, they should pay. If you're buying American toys, don't use them yourself. Just pay for personnel to come use it as well. Work with the Israelis. I know you're not going to do that, but that's what you should be working with the Americans the Israelis and Ukrainians. And you should, once you buy drones, defense drones, and honestly attack drones from Ukrainians, don't use them yourself. Pay the Ukrainians to come use them for you. Same thing with the Israelis. If you eventually become like UAE and start working with Israel, if you get the Iron Dome, don't use it yourself. Pay the Israelis to come use it for you. You don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. And here's an evidence. The evidence is the Jordanians were using the the American defense system in Jordan. Sorry, the Jordanians were using the American defense system in Jordan, and they didn't know how to use it, and that's why we had these soldiers, Private Isabella Gonzalez, which I have a video of her. She died because the Jordanians didn't know how to use their American defense system. So watch this. This is her, Isabella. Wow, she's so professional, huh? Look at the stance. So professional. The way that she walks. That's pretty cool.
I'm getting flashbacks when I was a soldier.
Oh. Well, thank you for your service, Monkey.
I mean, it's just something we all go through, and like soldiers are gonna feel this especially. But I think it's something that what you touched on is very important. The professionalism, the meritocracy built into the system. When we have things like nepotism and cronyism in the system, it is a problem with the IRGC. For us, it's a good problem because it makes them bad. But when we have allies like the Saudis and in Jordan, where we have a top-heavy military that's favoring that nepotism and cronyism, that becomes a problem because maybe the people that are supposed to be qualified to use the equipment aren't really qualified, and you can train them all you want, but if they don't have that base understanding, that base drive, that base ability to like understand these things and memorize them, well, you're training a sergeant, but that person never deserved to be a sergeant. So I have you ranked at the level that can operate this, right? I have you qualified, but the qualifications that you got weren't gotten by merit. They were gotten by cronyism. They were gotten by nepotism. So when I put you in charge of this equipment, you can't handle it. You can't react at the right time. You're not understanding the signals or not paying attention to the right signals, or you're so used to just slacking off that you don't have your full attention on this matter. And that leads to death.
Right.
Now, I want to speak on something before we move on, because I think that you guys thought I was kidding, and I am not kidding at all. All right. It's one thing to make a slight joke of it, but if we're talking professionally about forces in the area, we have to take into account what's there. We have to get past the being ourselves, being childish about the name of the place. There are literal military bases from different places in the world at this place, and I think they should be seriously discussed. Now, I'm sharing a screen right now.
Okay.
Just
after 2 minutes, and then after that we go to Rubio.
Sure.
Okay.
Probably take me less than 2 minutes because it's just a list of places.
All right.
We're talking
because
about.
I have for today's show. I have a list of things I want to go through, so I would appreciate it if you work with.
I understand, but we're taking time then. I have a list. This is a short list of all the bases in Djibouti. Have your little laugh. But this is serious and lives are at stake. All right. We have Camp Lemonnier. That's a United States base right there at the Gate of Tears. Chabelle Military Airport. That's a military airport from the United States right there at the Gate of Tears. From France, we have Base Ariane right there at the Gate of Tears. Heron Naval Base right there. That's France. China has a base there. We're not counting on them. We just know they're watching from there. Japan, the Self-Defense Force has a base right. I'm not even going to say the name because all of you start trying to ignore what I'm saying. But they opened it in 2011. Italy has a base there. Base Italiana de Support. That's, military support base right there. I think there are forces there. And I think it's going to get really ugly for them if they start acting up. I think holding Israel as an ace in freedom's pocket for the last phase of Iran is important. And I think the Houthis, they're going to get it. They're going to get it real bad. I'm going to take this off the screen.
All right. So from now on, let's go based on the things I have. Okay. And let's just focus on topic from now on. Okay. After from now on. Okay. Let me see. I think I had this one. Oh, Mikey, mute your mic. Okay. Always don't forget to mute your mic. There was something about this video that that I missed because somebody asked him a question. Hold on.
Because the price they're paying is very high, despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately.
Which countries?
Oh, I can't tell you who.
Wait, what? Which country?
They are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately.
Which countries came to you?
Oh, I can't tell you who told me.
I don't know what that question is. It seemed important. Wait, let me go. We got 2 super chats. Steak and Beans, thank you so much, Steak and Beans, with the super chat saying going on stuff all over Iran is futile. Just go on the Durkas homes, each and every one of them, low ranks primarily, easy to collect locations. I do think that if you could get some of the lower ranks, it will cause a lot of defections. I wouldn't say taking out the other stuff is futile. I do think that there are ways that you could paralyze the Islamic Republic, basically stopping completely paralyzing the war machine, because the electricity and the bridges are required for the war machine to continue. So I wouldn't say that it's futile, but I do like your strategy. I do think what you're suggesting, even if it's because I don't know if you could go after all of them. I know you can't, obviously you can't do anything, but I don't know if it's the most efficient way is a combination of hitting the infrastructure that they're using, doing some of what you're saying so that you cause mass defections if you're doing that, if you go after some of their lower ranks, because then they see that they're not immune either. It's not just the leaders, it's us as well. So there's going to cause mass defection. A lot of them have not signed up for that level of risk. And then, but also the third one is the third one is arming the Iranian people. So the combination of these 3, I think, will finish the job. Arming the Iranian people, attacking some lower ranks to cause mass defections, and hitting some key infrastructure to paralyze the Islamic Republic. If you do all of these 3, that's the fastest and most efficient way to get to the regime change, for sure. And then we got another super chat. Thank you, Mark with the super chat saying, don't a lot of those Mid-Eastern monarchies have a problem with their people being more loyal to a local tribe than the national government and crown? Let me see. Let me read that again. Don't a lot of those Middle Eastern monarchies have a problem with their people being more loyal to a local tribe? Yes, 100%. In fact, most people, there are many people there that consider their monarchies to not be a representation of them. It's too Western, it's too modernizing, and often they consider their monarchies to be an extension of global Zionism. And also they hate their regimes for not doing enough for the so-called Palestinian cause. It's basically the opposite of Iran. In Iran, you have a regime that is anti-West, anti-Israel, completely invested in the so-called Palestinian cause. And the Iranian people hate that because the Iranian people want normal relationship with the world, with United States, with Israel, and they hate the Palestinian cause, and they want to be less jihadi and more modern. And in these many other countries, it's the opposite. The regimes are more pro-Western, more allies of United States, want to abandon the Palestinian cause, but they have a lot of people that want to do the opposite. So basically, it's the opposite. It's the mirror image of the Islamic Republic. The situation is basically the opposite of that. And then push-ups, we got a super chat with from push-up saying, who are the people IRGC would collapse? Who are the people IRGC would collapse without? Oh, that's a very good question. In my opinion, it's a negotiation facing track. It's not Vahidi, it's not Abdullahi, it's not Musavi, it's not the top figures within IRGC. They are decentralized and mosaic enough to be able to recover from the heads of IRGC dying. It's the people who do the negotiations, the people who provide the hope that maybe there's some hope for the Islamic Republic. Maybe we could get something out of them. Maybe they will finally moderate. Those are the people that have to go, right? The one that gives some false hope to maybe a small portion of the Iranian people, and to hope to the Western world that maybe the Islamic Republic can, we don't have to topple them. The ones who manage the ceasefire, manage the negotiations, those are the people that have to go. So that would be make it very difficult for the Islamic Republic, the more difficult than anyone else. This is my highest priority on the list, is always the negotiation facing track. So your Ghalibaf, your Arakchi, your Pezeshkian, your Rouhani, Zarif, Khatami, Muhammad Khatami, not the other Khatami, Muhammad Khatami. These are the people that need. If you take out these people, they're pretty close to ending them. A great question on push-ups. Really good question. Okay, so let's go to this one. Look at this. This guy is saying, holy craps. Secretary Marco Rubio just mic dropped Iran's foreign minister. You know, I saw Arakchi, their foreign minister, say policy is an eye for an eye. The president's policy is head for an eye. Honestly, that's what it's going to be. Wow. Okay, let's look at this.
Just want some clarification. Do you rule out striking civilian?
I think I saw, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price. Their industrial base has been decimated. Their defense industrial base has been decimated. They're losing launchers. They're losing radars every single night. They are suffering billions of dollars in damage, and their economy is a disaster.
What do you think about Monkey? Head for an eye. They say an eye for an eye. He says we're going to do, President Trump does head for an eye.
Yes. I believe in decapitation strikes. Absolutely.
Do you think we have been doing head for an eye?
No. We did it at the start, then that kind of died down. But I think it could be starting again. Right now, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Well, at least are we doing eye for an eye? At least are we doing that right now?
We're doing eye for an eye. We're getting like 2 eyes and a nose, maybe a lip. Sometimes 2 lips. It depends on the day. Like, we're definitely getting more than an eye for every eye. But it's not a full decapitation yet. So what does the bingo chart look like? Have we seen any new movement there?
Nope. The bingo chart has not been updated since long time.
Well, I'm interpreting a head of a department, right? I understand that there are places that are very important, but for me, a head it would be like every time you strike, I'm going to take someone off your bingo board until everyone on that fucking bingo board wants to kill you, because every time you strike, I take a head off that bingo board.
Yeah, you know, that's a very good point. We haven't had a major update on that chart. Like, let me actually bring it up. How long has it been there? We only had two versions of it. We had one. So, guys, these are all the officials of the Islamic Republic. These are all these are all the people within the Islamic Republic, and all the main ones at least. And there was a first one, and then so many of them died. You can see all the ones with the skeleton have been already killed by the Americans and Israelis. We had the first version, and then soon after the first version, we had to have a second version because there were many people that were removed. But ever since, I don't know, when has it been? Like, it has been ever since Jalili died. When did Jalili die? There has been zero updates on this since then.
About 2 months ago, maybe a little more.
Yeah, more, I think. Wait, let me see. When did Jalili die? When did Jalili die? I know some IRGC people died, but it was not important enough. No, not.
They weren't bingo level.
Sorry, I keep saying Jalili. Larijani, not Jalil. Larijani. Okay, March. Man, it has been so long.
That's 4 months.
Yeah.
Depending on when in March.
Yeah, March 17th. So wow, my God, you those were the good days, right, Monkey? Those were the good days.
Like I
Every day.
said, I want more heads to roll. I want more spots. I want that bingo card. Every time they strike, I want to see a head off that bingo card, so that they get angry, like literally angry at the leadership, and they say, "Wait a minute, you got to do something." Because every time you start striking something, one of our heads rolls, and I don't know what mine is next.
Yeah. We got spoiled. We didn't know how good we had it back then.
Look,
And
you
that
can even start from
thought-
the bottom of that chart. Like, I don't care. As long as their picture is in there, if every time, and it would be even better if it's random and they don't know if it's going to be at the top or the bottom or the middle, because they're all scared. If it's just the bottom, they're like, okay, it's going to take a while to get to me. But if it's random, it doesn't, like, it'll be someone at the top, someone in the middle, someone at the bottom, and they don't know who's next. But every day, every time they strike, a head rolls. That's gonna get them. That's gonna get them working. That's gonna get them like, hey, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we will soon. We'll go back to those days. I miss those days. Okay. Let me see what Marco Rubio is saying here. This one seems really good.
There's a handful of Boston whalers, but they don't really have they don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. Their air defenses are crushed from the very beginning. Now, what the president has pointed to is the fact that the people of Iran deserve better leadership, and they slaughter their own people by the thousands. They shoot them in the head. They slaughter them in the streets. Yeah, we don't like that. I mean, we don't think that's good for Iran. But our goal and our national interest in Iran is they can never have a nuclear weapon. And that's what they were going to try to do if they had been able to hide behind double the number of missiles, double the number of drones. That's where they would have been in about a year had they continued on the pace of construction. Even though their economy was suffering, even though their people were suffering, that's what they were spending their money on. Even though they had sanctions, the money that was coming in, they were spending it on those things. That tells you everything you need to know about them. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks.
I appreciate that he brought up the Iranian people and the fact that the Iranian people deserve better. I do appreciate that. You start a comment, Monkey? You want to respond to that?
Look, I thought it was funny. Trump, Nukes says Trump should hold a poll on Truth Social to decide which head rolls. That's a little too much forewarning, right? Like that's too much foreshadowing. They might start hiding if you put them on that poll. But I think it's funny. I have to commend the energy.
Okay, so this is good. This is a good comment. We took someone else fairly high last night. He was in one of the buildings bombed. Tough luck. Okay, so I don't know if you're referring to Radon. I saw a rumor right before my Persian show earlier today that there was an explosion in Iran close to the border with Iraq, and there are rumors, only rumors right now, that it might have been Radon because Radon was in the same city that this explosion was in. So if that's what you're talking about, I did hear those rumors. That would be a big deal. This is Radon over here, the head of police. This is the head of the anti-protest. But this person, I think he probably has more direct blood on his hand than anybody here on this list. Okay, like directly responsible for more
So that would
blood.
be fantastic news.
That would be the most amazing news. But I haven't heard any confirmation.
We're waiting for confirmation.
Yes, we'll see. It might be wishful thinking because that's what so many people want, but hopefully it is true. Yeah. Okay. Wait, we got. Let me unstart this. Wait, by the way, we got another super chat. Thank you so much. Channel 0071 saying 10 bridges, 10 plants, 10,000 IRGC besieges per tanker. You know what? I like the way you think. And I know, guys, a lot of people might think like, oh no, Armin power plants is the Iranian people suffer. I mean, I talk to the Iranian people all the time, and I'm not saying that the ones that I talk to is like a statistically significant number, but at least me and the ones that I talk to, we agree that if that's what it takes to get rid of the Islamic republics, it's worth it. It's worth if that's what it takes. So yeah, channel 0071 for president. I'll vote for him. You have my vote. I'm president of I don't know where. Probably it's a US dollars for USD, US dollars. So United States. Yeah, somebody is also saying thanks USA military doing a brilliant job. I completely agree. They're doing a great job. I'm seeing them say they don't care. Yep. Texas. That's what I see. That's what I usually hear as well. That a lot of Iranian people say our infrastructure are the Iranian people who are basically being being wasted because they live under the Islamic Republic. That's our infrastructure, the people, not our power plants. But let me see. Speaking of the potential of the Iranian people and Iran as a whole, Marco Rubio had something else to say.
These are the people. Understand, Iran is a rich country. Iran could be the richest country in the Middle East if they want it to be, but instead, they take their money and they use it and they give it to Hezbollah, they give it to Hamas, they give it to the Houthis, they give it to Shia militias, they give it to sponsor terrorism all over the world, they give it to try to kill people all over the world, they build drones and missiles and pursue a nuclear weapons program. That's what they spent their money on. If they had spent their money on their people and on their economy, today Iran could be probably the richest country in the region if you want to know the truth. So, these are the.
I'm so great. Oh my God, Marco Rubio, I love you. I know. Oh my God, I don't know. He always says the right thing. He always says the best thing.
He's spitting facts.
Really, yes, he does.
Straight facts. That's everything he said is a fact. Like it touches Armin in his heart, but like with the rest of you, you should know he's being factual.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think I judge based on being factual as well. I'm pretty good at being objective.
Your reaction was very, I love this guy. And I love him too. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love facts. Monkey, I love facts. I'm in love with facts.
But you also love Rubio. Admit it.
Because he speaks facts. I admit it.
What doesn't matter why? Look at him.
Yeah, I love
gorgeous
Rubio
man.
because I love facts. I even if he was ugly, I would love him.
Homies, this is your next president.
Yeah, don't fight with me. I love him because of facts. Steak and Beans with a super chat. Thank you so much. Saying their infrastructure sucks and malfunctions anyways. It is an excuse for a rebuild. Steak and Beans, this reminds me of Germany after World War II. Your mic is open, Link. Your mic is open. Yeah, Germany after World War II, their infrastructure was almost completely destroyed by the Allies. They had close to zero left. Like it wasn't like a power plant here, a power plant there, a factory here. What I read is that around 70% of all their infrastructure was destroyed. That is devastating. And what happened was after they rebuilt, they had the most modern, advanced infrastructure compared to the rest of Europe, which is among many other reasons why they will end up becoming a more advanced economy compared to the rest of Europe, because everybody was using their old stuff and Germany was using their new, more advanced stuff.
That's when
Only
German cars,
Yes.
when German's cars became like a worldwide standard for, wow, this is high quality, great engineering. That's when that happened, right? Like they had a good reputation, but after the modernization, it was top of the world.
True. And then so you're saying only 70%, Stephen? Like, I mean, 70% of your entire infrastructure is like, that is devastating. That is devastating. But apparently, no, it's not. Apparently, it's an opportunity to rebuild. What is devastating is Nazism. What is devastating is not your power plants and your factories being blown up. What is devastating is a command economy. So if you have to lose a couple of factories and power plants to get off Nazism, to get rid of Islamism, then so be it. Channel 0071 with a super chat saying, I was in Israel October 5th to 8th, 2023. Wow. October 7th. Oh my God. In Philippines, June 2017, Mindanao incident. Oh, in the south, the terrorist attack in the south. In Israel, May 19th, they shot rockets into Ashdod apartments after ceasefire. Oh my God. Can you go to Tehran right now? Like, I don't know if that's gonna what's happening. I don't know. Wow, that's crazy. You have seen a lot. What an experience. Can you write a book or something? Like, you should write a book about your personal experiences. That is crazy. It seems like Islamic terrorism. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe don't go to Tehran, because it seems like you attract the wrong type of terrorism, violence. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like are you on a list by
Retire and write a
Muslim?
memoir.
Yes. Are you on a list by
We
Muslim
want you to
terrorists or
stay
something?
safe.
Yes. That's pretty crazy. Write a book. Write a book. Okay, and Nima for the super chat saying Wahid online confirming Qasem Island has been hit. Oh my God. We have boom booms right now. Usually we get boom booms. CENTCOM usually schedules that for Ali's show.
We got some breaking news. We're gonna verify, folks. Just hold on for a second.
By the way, the way you wrote it is wrong. I mean, Geshman. Oh no, you wrote it right. Geshman. I was like, what is that? Sorry, guys, I'm tired. I've been working so hard. Gesh Island, the biggest island, the whale-looking island in southern Iran. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's wrong with it. I read that wrong. I said, the reason I read it, I said somebody named Qasim was assassinated, but you're talking about Gesh Island. I was like, who on the boom boom sheet was just assassinated? Single blast wave felt in Gesh, Hormuzgan province, Iran. Just happening right now, confirmed by Shin. I like Shin because Vahid Online is just mostly on Telegram, and it doesn't have a good way to share it. Shin is better because it's.
Can I ask you something about this?
Yes.
Is this closer to the west, southwest Iran or southeast Iran? Like, is it closer to the strait?
Straight, right dead center of, like, close to the strait.
Okay.
Yes, it's the biggest island. Is the one that looks like a whale. It's the main source of operations for basically putting a blockade on Gesh. So Gesh is like center to the right. No, so Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz is center to the right. Gesh is center to the left, and it's Gesh Island. Let me see. Wow, I can't type today. Gesh Island. Let me find you a map. Okay, sorry. Yeah, There we go. Not like that. That's not good. Oh, there we go. Why is this all in French? Okay, here. Nope, not that one. Sorry. None of this is good. Jesus Christ. Oh. There we go. Finally found a good map. Copy image address. Here. Okay, found a good map. So here, look, you see how it looks like a whale?
Yes, like kind of like a shark or a whale. Yes, like a killer whale.
This is the tail. Yeah. So this is the Strait of Hormuz. Qesh Island is right. Monkey, can you mute your microphone, please? Because I'm hearing myself now. It's like really bad background noise. But this is the Qesh Island. So this is the Strait of Hormuz. So this is like kind of like center south. The Strait of Hormuz is like right to the east of Qesh Island. And if you look at here, this you see between Larak and Qesh, that's where the Islamic Republic wants the ships to go through. So if you look at the Strait of Hormuz all the way from north to south, the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz is where the Islamic Republic wants the ships to go through. The southern part of the Strait of Hormuz is where the Americans want the ships to go through. Okay, it used to be the case that before all of this started, one lane was used for the ships to come in, and one lane was, the northern lane was used for the ships to come in. The southern lane was used for the ships to go out, right? But now the Islamic Republic is saying both coming in and leaving has to be happening at the northern lane, and preferably between these two islands over here, Qesh and Larak, because they want to turn this area into a toll booth where they collect tolls. And every time you see the Islamic Republic hit a ship, is because they are with this is because the ships are using the Omani lane at the southern part of the Strait of Hormuz. So every time they're hitting a ship, is because they're angry. They're like, "Why are you going there? You have to come up here," which is a violation of everything, by the way. The fact that they're doing that, like, it violates everything. Like, yeah. We got a couple of super chats, but let me put this over here. So Vahid Online confirming Qesh Island has been hit. Thank you so much for letting us know, Nima, keeping us updated. Look at this. We get super chats to get updates. Not only you're helping us get updated, you're also supporting us at the same time. Love you, Nima. Thank you. Fleshy Interloper saying, morning, folks. Escaped from my analytic rabbit hole. Yeah, Fleshy, be careful. Like, you could get addicted to that. You could get down a rabbit hole of just data, collecting data and data and data, and you could get sucked into that, and it becomes so addicting. I know I've been there. Nerds have that problem. They start analyzing and collecting data, and they fall in love with the numbers, and then they can't. It's kind of like gambling for nerds, right? Like, they just collect the data and they look at the charts and they look at the numbers and they try to come up with an analysis, and then you don't know. You get to this spiral that you can't get out of. Is that what you're talking about, Fleshy Interloper? Because I've been there. I think nerds have that experience sometimes. And then Fleshy Interloper with another super chat saying, Ali has lost control of CENTCOM. Yes, Ali has lost control. This is the first time we're seeing during our show that CENTCOM is operating in southern Iran at these hours. Usually it's right before our show with Ali. Okay, let's see. Did we play this one?
What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, look, I hope that they'll stop. They shouldn't really do that.
Wait, hold on. What was the question?
Two southern ships. What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, look, I hope
They attacked two southern ships. Two ships going through the southern lane. It's like, what is your reaction to that?
hope that they'll stop. They shouldn't really do that. They got suckered into this by the Iranians. The Houthis largely were smart and stayed out of all this throughout the conflict. But they now apparently have gotten themselves suckered into this, going after Saudi Arabia and their ships. And by the way, that's, I was reading reports a few hours ago that there was actually a Saudi fuel ship that's flag Chinese. It's a Chinese ship. Are they going to blow up the Chinese ship and this becomes a problem for China? This will become a problem for the whole world. But I hope that will de-escalate, because I think the Houthis, frankly, got snookered into this thing by the Iranians, and they were smart to stay out of it, and they should stay out of it, and they should stop. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, it's not a positive development. We'll see what happens.
What do you think, Menki?
I'm trying to fix some audio issues here. I'm very sorry. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what were the consequences?
The Chinese ship. Are they going to blow up the Chinese ship and this becomes a problem for China? This will become a problem for the whole world. But I hope that will de-escalate, because I think the Houthis, frankly, got snookered into this thing by the Iranians, and they were smart to stay out of it, and they should stay out of it, and they should stop. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, it's not a positive development. We'll see what.
I was talking about the Houthis. Okay, so sorry. He was talking about the Houthis attacking the Saudi ships around the Bab el-Mandab. That's what he's talking about. Okay, see, I need to read this other thing. No, yeah, it's okay. Okay. Monkey, it's okay if you have audio issues. It's okay. We'll go through it. I think I hope you open your mic, and I think that it was working better now. So he's basically warning the Houthis. Let me actually read the subtitles here. I can't read the messages and do the show at the same time. Let me see. So I think I hope the Houthis stop. They shouldn't really do that. They got stuck. They got suckered into this by the Iranians. See, guys, this is a confirmation of what I was saying. I thought the Houthis don't want to get involved in this war because there's not that much in it for them. And now Marco Rubio is confirming that I was right about this, because they are the difference between the Houthis, guys. Always remember this. There's a difference between the Houthis right now and the other proxies of the terrorist proxies of the Islamic Republic is that they have so much more to lose compared to the other proxies. The reason why they have so much more to lose is because they are a government. They're not the official government, but they are technically the actual government in Yemen, the most technical one, right? So they have so much to lose. Like if you look at the other proxies, Shabi is not the government. Hezbollah is not. I mean, it has influence in the government, but it's not the government. Neither is Fatimiyun, Zainabiyun. Hamas is no longer the government. I mean, technically, it never was. It's only the Houthis are the government. And every time they do something for the Islamic Republic, they get bombarded heavily for it. So this is going to. So if you're the Houthis, if you're supposed to come and close Bab el-Mandab, what are you going to get out of it? Like, is the Islamic Republic able to support you like they used to support you before? Are they going to be able to do that or no? Because right now they're attacking ships again and closing Bab el-Mandab. Marco Rubio is wondering, like, you got suckered into it. Like, what did they give you? Did they threaten you? Were the Houthis threatened by the Islamic Republic? Or did they get like a major reward? Like, what did they give them? They were at the funeral in Tehran for Ali Khamenei's funeral. What did the Islamic Republic give the Houthis to convince them to close Bab el-Mandab? Because this doesn't seem like a good deal, and whatever it is. And that's why Marco Rubio is saying they got suckered into it. So now they have to pay the consequences. Now they have to be shown that whatever deal you have with the Islamic Republic is not a good one for you.
There is another possibility.
Mm-hmm.
They have to show that they have outside support. The only way to show they have outside support is to attack when their outside support needs them to. Like, this is a far stretch. This is like, I'm still manning the hell out of this thing. But like, maybe they're not getting any support, but they also don't want to seem unsupported in their own region. And sometimes to not seem unsupported, you have to work for your teammate. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, no, I'm with Iran. They're with me. We're together. Look. I'm not unloyal. I'm not alone. Look, I attacked. You see, I got my buddies in Iran. They're going to back me. I'm going to back them. We are strong. But if you are alone and you got the Saudis on one side, the government on the other side, I think the government united with the people who are going to be on you from the south, you're very much surrounded and you're starting to have problems from the inside. So I'm still landing the hell out of this thing. So what I'm saying is I don't believe this, but there is also the possibility they're trying to show, hey, I got outside support. I'm going to support my outside help, and my outside help is going to support me. I don't believe this, but it's a possibility.
Mark is saying, have these idiots figured out they've lost yet? Obviously, I'm talking about the IRGC. Have they figured out? Okay, so the people, the highest ranking people, yes, they know they're losing this, right? But they also know that if they admit that they're losing this, they're gonna lose their base of support. So their followers, the people who we need to need to understand that they're losing is not the heads of IRGC. They know it. We need to make the people who support the IRGC understand that they're losing this, so that they lose faith in the IRGC. The IRGC needs to use propaganda to continue convincing their base of support that they're winning this, because they cannot survive if they lose their base of support. So we have to separate the supporters of IRGC versus the heads of IRGC. And the people that need to understand it, they have not yet understood it, but they're slowly, every day, they're realizing it more. The way to, and here's the genius of President Trump, the way to make them understand that they're losing this. Your question is a very important question, because if they do not understand that they're losing, then they would not lose. No matter how much of what they have you destroy, no matter how much economic pressure and military pressure you put on them, if they do not accept that they have been defeated, then technically they haven't been defeated. The heads of IRGC understand that they have been defeated, but they keep their legitimacy by convincing their base of support that they're winning this. And these people will, even if you blow up everything around them, these people are too brainwashed to accept that they have been defeated. And the reason why that's important for them to realize that is because this whole thing will come crumbling down after the ideologically, you defeat them ideologically by them submitting and accepting defeat. That's when this whole thing crumbles down. And this is why I think, and this is an unpopular opinion inside Iran, guys. Whenever I'm speaking, I don't want to act like I'm like a representation of the Iranian people. If what I say, if my understanding is that this is what many people in Iran think, I will tell you. If I have an opinion that is an unpopular opinion, then I will be honest with you, and I will not try to present my opinion as the popular opinion inside Iran. And I will tell you, this is an opinion that I have that is, I think, is correct, but just because I'm Iranian, it doesn't mean that it reflects other Iranian people. This is an opinion that I have that is unpopular inside Iran. I think that President Trump managed to hurt the Islamic Republic with the ceasefire, with the negotiations, in a way that you could not have done it with military operations and with political pressure. I think that the signing of the MOU, the talking to the Americans after they killed your supreme leader, opened the eyes of so many of these jihadi, Islamic-minded, pro-regime people that we're probably not winning this, because why are we submitting to them? Why are we talking to them? Why are we agreeing to a ceasefire? Why are we signing an MOU if we're winning this? And President Trump somehow managed to take hope away from these people. He managed to take their confidence. He managed to take their faith in the regime. That's what I think happened. And sometimes people get angry, like, Armin, we need more boom booms. They're like, I agree, we need more boom booms. But this ceasefire worked really, like, this in between ceasefire actually worked in our favor. And then there was another question here by Zero Saki saying, how do the Houthis understand themselves in the terms of aligned with the Iran goals or heresy, but for goals of jihad, it's okay? So yes, what unites these Muslim groups is aligned interests more than theology. Okay, so aligned interest is Jew hatred, anti-Americanism, and anti-Zionism. that makes their interests aligned, and it's all of that, by the way, is also mostly for power and wealth reasons rather than the ideology is the tool, it's not the goal. So for example, the Saudis, they use the excuse of defending Palestine and punishing Israel to legitimize their piracy in the population in Yemen. So these people are pirates. Okay. So they're like, yeah, Palestine, screw Israel. But their business is piracy, and they need to sell their piracy to an internal population in Yemen as we're defending Palestine. But if you always I know, guys, I know theology and ideology matters to figure out what these people are doing, but if you always follow the money, always follow what brings people power, the theology is the tool. It might be the goal of your foot soldiers and your base of support, but the entire structure would not survive unless the goal is money and power. And then we got 2 super chats, by the way. Auntie K, thank you so much from Florida. Look at this. Nephew, I miss you. Where have you been? Saying we are at a point that the Durkas will not be sharing who was taken out. Med? I don't know what that is. Tip, what level did X event raise their blood pressure? You need a BP chart. How did they get after these strikes? Very mad, big one. Okay, Monkey, can you help out? Let me actually.
Nephew, we are at a point that the Durkas will not be sharing who was taken out. Also, you think they're going to hide who was taken out? Tip, what level did X event rise to the blood pressure? You need a BP chart. This is medical stuff. What level did an event raise their blood pressure? Like, you got to look at the chart, see who has high blood pressure, and then see what event rose their blood pressure, right? How mad did they get? Is there a blood pressure boiling over? Are they having heart attacks over there? Mad big one. Like, very mad big one. Like, this is what I'm getting. Like, you got to monitor the chart for their health level to know who died, because they're not going to tell you. This is what I'm gathering.
How do we get these medical equipment on them to figure that out?
We need we had some success with pagers. Maybe we could get like heart monitors, or the iPhone, the Apple Watches. I don't know. I don't think they'd wear that. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something on them.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Yes, let's just send them Apple Watches as gifts and just monitor their hearts. And whenever there's a strike, just see how does it mentally affect them and figure out if it was a big target based on that. Okay, great plan. Let's do that.
We'll have the one that did the 007 videos. He will give them the watches.
Okay. Good plan. Send that to Pentagon. Thank you, KP. We figured it out. Thank you, Auntie K. Guy. Oh, I know this guy. Guy is saying Israel has. I bet you get that joke all the time, right? Guy, are you tired of these types of jokes? Like, I don't know. Is that annoying or not? Like, people are like, oh, a guy is a great guy. Like, oh, guy,
he's a great guy. Everybody knows it. They say he's a wonderful guy.
Guy is a great guy. Do you get tired of those? Yes, he gets tired. Oh my god. Okay, so we'll stop. Is that a yes that you get tired of it? Okay, sorry, I won't do it anymore. Okay. Saying Israel has an irregular security cabinet meeting tomorrow noon. A minister said openly, we might strike this weekend. Shelters have been opened soon. Really? Monkey, did you know about this? Let me look at this up.
Oh, this is oh my God, this is right up Landau's alley. This is what he analyzes. This is why he has a program in the morning where he could get into these details. And I would suggest everybody subscribe. Like, if you're up at him in the morning and you want to know what's going on over there in Israel, what you can do is you can go over there and you can listen to him speak on that and many issues going on in. He's also very savvy about tech, but he covers lots of issues in Israel, and he's all around a good land
But
out.
I will put. Oh my god, he said he gets tired of it. I'll put the link to Guy's channel in the
I held back.
chat. You held back, okay? But let me see. So let me base. Here's the news: Israeli municipalities have unlocked public bomb shelters. Oh my god, something might be happening soon. And political figures have signaled that military strikes against the Iranian regime could occur this weekend following emergency security cabinet assessment. So, yep, he's right. Emergency healthcare and defense networks nationwide are currently on maximum alert to ensure full readiness for any immediate regional escalation. Oh my God, guys, we might getting something soon, or maybe even sooner than this weekend, because last time we were here, something was supposed to happen on a Sunday, and then it happened on Saturday. You guys remember? Was I right? Did I get the dates right? Let me see. February 28th. Yes, I was right. Guys, remember when they killed Khamenei? It was supposed to happen on February 29. But then the Israelis got some intelligence that they did it on February 28th instead. So it was supposed to happen on a Sunday, but it happened on a Saturday. And Marco Rubio came out and said that, oh, we got some Israelis were going to move earlier, so we had to move earlier as well. And this was why all the anti-Israelis, this is why Piers Morgan comes out and say, like, we were dragged into a war because we said, Marco Rubio admitted it, that we weren't going to do a war, but then we saw that they're doing it, so we had to do it as well. No. I mean, he's lying. I was almost going to call him an idiot, but then Monkey would get angry with me that I'm calling him an idiot. He's lying. See, Monkey, I take your feedback seriously. I adjust. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes. He's lying to you guys. He's lying. You're being an idiot if you believe him. Okay? Maybe he's lying, but you're being an idiot if you believe him. What happened was they moved the plan. They already are you that stupid? Are you that stupid to think that the Americans and Israelis, when they go on military operations like this, they don't plan these things way ahead of time? No, they were planning it months ahead of time. What changed was just the day. It was Israel didn't drag the United States into a war. They just met the Israelis because of the information they had. They moved earlier, so the Americans moved one day earlier with them. It wasn't that because Israelis moved in, United States. Did you see how coordinated that attack was? You don't get that coordination with just one day of notice and just jumping right in. This was planned months ahead of time. Both the Americans and Israelis were doing this together. So anyways, I got off track. I keep telling Monkey not to get off track, and now I get off track myself all the time.
Listen, I respect the tangent. I think it was a good tangent. This is like a choreographed dancing. Busting a move out there. It's because you've practiced this move. You know how to move together. It's like looking in the mirror when they're working together. Like they know what they're doing because they planned it.
Exactly. And then what Guy is saying, so this is what makes me think that maybe people are saying it's going to happen this weekend, but maybe it will happen on Friday. We'll see. It's interesting how much more publicly they are being about the potential attack, because before Operation Epic Fury, it was like we were getting nothing. But it might be because they understand if something big happens this weekend, it might be because the fact that they're being more transparent and open about it. It might be because the Islamic Republic can't do much about it because of how much less capabilities they have compared to right before Operation Epic Fury. Do you think that's the reason, Monkey?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, President Trump said it directly, right? He said that
yes.
I'm telling you guys because there's nothing they could do about it. That's why he announced it. Oh, look at this. Sherry, thank you. Look at this saying, cannot thank you enough all day, every day. More ginger tea on me. You know what? I need it. I think 75% of the super chat money goes to ginger tea. Look at this. I'm just kidding. But look at this. This is my first cup that I just finished with Monkey. I already had 3 cups on my earlier. So this is my first cup. I'm halfway through the second cup of my ginger tea, and then I have a third cup ready to go. So there's.
I want to get one of
Thank
those
you.
desk warmers that you put it on and the cup stays warm. It keeps the tea hot.
Oh, I saw someone of that, but it wasn't this big. It needs to be this big.
I have
to
the same
find one that
problem.
is-
It's got to be a big one.
You know what? You're right. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna invest in that. Great suggestion, Minky. Thank you. And oh my God, super chats are coming in. Thank you, Sherry. And then sticking beans with a super chat, saying, if anything said publicly, no Israeli attacks go on. So what do you think, Monkey? Sticking beans is saying there's not going to be an attack because they're talking about it publicly.
Well, there's this fog of war in this, right? So you have to understand that sometimes, they say one thing, but they do another. And, you have to kind of understand the culture over there in Israel, the culture over there over here in the U.S. I think Guy is going to say something about this. What do we consider the weekend, right? Like, it's a little different.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, you know what? In Iran also the weekend is Friday. So let me actually go to that super chat then. Guy is saying Friday is weekend in Israel. I bet Friday night. That's interesting because in Iran weekend is the Friday. It is Friday as well. I didn't know that it's the same thing in Israel. Interesting. So Steak and Beans is betting nothing will happen. Guy is betting that this Friday something big will happen. So guys, let's wait and this weekend and see which one of you were correct about this, Guy or Stick and Beans. And then we got a super chat from Auntie K from Florida. You know what, Auntie K, will you, if I come to Florida, do I get to meet my auntie or no? Like, let me know. Saying it's a nurse tip. Okay, I didn't get that. Listen to them. If they are so angry while saying nothing happened, they are lying. That is a BP blood pressure check. Reactions don't lie. Okay.
Well, so I was kind of on the money about that. I got that one right.
Yes, you did. I didn't, Monkey. This is why I need you here. Okay. Because sometimes I don't get what I'm reading, and Monkey helps me out. Thank you so much, Monkey. I appreciate that. And thank you, Auntie K. And then we got Sarah with a super chat. Check Trump's Truth Social. I think we might have did civil nuclear deal. Let me see. Yeah, no, I haven't yet. I had that on my list, and
Is
I
that
think
upcoming
Monkey
news?
and I probably I had that in my list to show, and I think Monkey and I have slight disagreement on this. I don't like it. Monkey thinks it's a 5D chess move, which is okay. We could disagree on stuff. I just don't like it. And I know a lot of people who are huge Trump supporters. They probably prefer Monkey's analysis on this than me. Wait, everything is frozen. Let me close some tabs because everything is frozen. You know why everything frozen? Because I have so many tabs open, and I keep pausing the videos on X so that they don't keep playing, but X is insistent that they keep playing in the background. Like, I have so many tabs of videos just constantly playing in the background. I'm like, stop playing them. I'm not even watching them. Okay, so this one. I don't like this one bit that Saudi Arabia is getting anything nuclear related. Again, I know there's going to be so many excuses for this, saying like, oh, we're just threatening other people. We're going to use this as a way to get people get their act together. They're not going to have access to this. We're going to keep a close eye on them to make sure they're not going to do this, do that. Yeah, I know. I know. I've heard all the excuses. Saudis getting anything nuclear related is not a good idea. The reason why it's not a good idea is because Saudi is not a stable country. They might have at some point an Islamic revolution. We have already seen how big of a mess we have with Pakistan. We constantly have to give them billions of dollars because we're afraid that a country with nuclear weapons is going to have an Islamic uprising, and then a whole bunch of Durka jihadi people are not going to have a nuclear bomb. Saudi is the same thing. It's not worth the risk. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, so again, I know a lot of you disagree with me, but I just don't like giving nukes to Muslims. Call me crazy. Anything. Well, not nukes. Anything atomic related. I don't like any Islamic country. You should be far, far away from anything enrichment or nuclear related. So this. You want to read this, Monkey?
Well, I think you're getting ahead of yourself over here. I don't agree with this either. Like, you think I'm going to agree, but like, absolutely not. I'm completely with you on this one. But okay, let's read it. The civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment material being made between the United States Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as the ones Iran and UAE and others already have, will be approved, but totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. The United States is not opposed to civil, non-enriched nuclear facilities. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
You know what? It's a bit better than I thought it would be. I mean, I still don't like it. Let me be clear. But the reason why it's better than I thought it would be is because I thought they're dropping the normalization of relationship with Israel as a condition, but it seems to be back on. So that's good. At least that's there. Still,
I think the whole point is the Abraham Accords. I don't like. Right. Here's the thing. It's like, okay, right now I can tell you I'm going to give you an F-35. Is that going to pass the Senate? Like, there may be things that hold us back in the U.S.
This is harder to. The United States has more power over this than the F-35. The F-35.
I understand.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Like, it takes a bigger majority to cancel this, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. If I'm going to steel man this, because I don't like it, if I have to steel man this, I would say that getting them to sign the Abraham Accords is going to basically force the locals to either get on board, or it's going to cause the instability now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if they don't have the stability, this is what would break it. If they don't have the stability because their government is kind of broken and there's too many Durkas in the government, signing the Abraham Accords is going to bring that to a head. And if that comes to a head, we're not going to give it to them because, well, as soon as you sign the Abraham Accords, your nation went crazy. And if your nation goes crazy when you sign the Abraham Accords, we're not giving you nuclear nothing. This is the strongest steel man I can make. And I don't believe it, but you can see the angle.
Yes, good job, Monkey. Being able to steel man a position that you disagree with is a sign of high intelligence. So I admire that. Good job. Really good. And I see, Texas, you're saying like, yeah, they're trying to figure out how to move to a position where, like, because oil prices might drop, their revenue might die out, the whole country might collapse. And that's why they need nuclear. The problem, I'm not disagreeing with you, and but the problem is, like, guys, Saudi Arabia might collapse. They need to get into the Abrahamic Accord, or everything will go chaotic, and we're gonna have an Islamic uprising, or we need to give them nuclear because oil revenue is not reliable. At some point, we're gonna get to a technology where the incoming revenue of the Saudi government is going to drop like a rock, and how are they going to keep the things together? And if that happens, they're going to have an Islamic takeover. So we need to help them out with both the Abrahamic Accord and giving them nuclear ability for energy so that they could prepare for a sudden drop in oil prices at some point. I hear what you're saying, but here's the problem with that. Okay, so saying that's not what I said. Okay, so then I'm arguing for people out. I am arguing about the people who are saying that, then, if that's not what you said. So that's what I'm saying. You know what? From now on, instead of reading in the chat, I'm just going to say the people who are saying this, because that's what I read people say. I'm not going to address what's in the chat then. The people who are addressing this is the problem that I have with these arguments. It's that it might not work. It might not work. Even the Abrahamic Accord might help the Saudi Arabia against external threats. Okay, giving them alternative source of revenue beyond oil and gas might help Saudi Arabia keep everything stable, or it might not. And if it doesn't, then they have enrichment uranium facilities in Saudi Arabia, and now you have an Islamic revolution like you had in Iran in 1979, and now Durkas are in charge, jihadis are in charge, and this is a country that has both enriched uranium and enrichment of uranium facilities. There you go. Like how many times, like we did this with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, and then we got the Taliban. We did this with the mullahs in Iran, and then they managed to get, you know what happened? We gave planes, we get advanced fighter jets to the Shah, and then they got support from the Democrats. The mullahs got support from the Democrats, and all of those expensive advanced fighter jets were then owned by the mullahs. We did this mistake in Israel. The jihadi groups that the Israelis supported against the PLO ended up becoming Hamas, right? So it might, guys, every time you're supporting an Islamic regime or group because it seems like a good idea at the time, long term it will backfire. And yeah, I know you said Trump said no enrichment, but that's how it starts. You don't jump right in with the full thing. You start with this is how you get your foot in the door, and then it gets more. Because remember, Mohammed bin Salman himself said directly, this is the normalization of a taboo, and then if you get this, then you get the next thing, then you get the next thing, then you get the next thing. Mohammed bin Salman himself said directly, if the Islamic Republic gets a nuclear bomb, then we need a nuclear bomb. He said that publicly. He's been transparent about that.
Look, I'm agreeing with you on a lot of this. I'm not in favor of this. They're talking about small modular reactors, which is a little different. It's something that you have to basically bring the fuel to it. Like as far as enrichment, anyone can make enrichment. You can have some regular, like if you're gonna look at the heavily regulated stuff, yes, there's heavily regulated stuff that you just bring the material to. They do this in Japan. They do this in a lot of nations. I think that's what they're talking about. But none of what I'm saying dismisses what you're saying. And I don't know how, like, I would have to know more about how these small reactors work to know exactly what they're talking about. Because they might be talking about a type of reactor in which it is impossible to do that. You understand? I don't know that. That's why I'm basing all my assumptions on a different kind of maybe a different kind of reactor, and maybe the technology in this reactor makes it so that is just not a possibility. So I want to hold back from saying this is the chain of events because I don't know the technology. But if I am assuming the technology that you're talking about, I have to agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. This might be with this technology, there might be no way to get that. The problem is that it's the normalization of Saudi nuclear next to each other, right? So
you're talking from about like the mind of the world accepting these things.
Yeah, and also listen to this. Civilian nuclear power reactors inherently generate plutonium in spent fuel rods, providing a country with the essential raw fissile material and technical infrastructure needed for nuclear weapons. Through chemical reprocessing of spent fuel and accumulated nuclear expertise, a nation can bypass uranium enrichment entirely to construct an implosion type nuclear bomb. So even without enrichment of uranium, this infrastructure will provide them a path towards a bomb, even without the enrichment of uranium.
That's a general assumption about a general civilian use. Can you search for the specific plants that they're talking about? Because that's a very specific, like, not the like.
So you're saying this is general. This is a general claim about civilian use of these nuclear power plants. What we need is
That's not what I'm saying.
What specifically the Saudis are getting. Okay.
What I'm saying is, by all means and purposes, he's talking about a very specific type of plant. I think for our research, I'm not saying we have to do this now. We should try to find out more about that specific plant so that when we make the case against it, we're making it, because I would probably still make the case against it, even if it's a civilian type that makes it harder. Harder is not the same as impossible. My best counter to I'm sorry, my best counter to when people will say, oh, but this is a different type of plant, is to know exactly what kind of plant it is and say, no, it's harder, but it's still possible. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so based on what you said, this is what I found. Okay, and you guys could check if I'm right about this or not. Okay, so under the 30-year section 123 agreement, I used to call it 123. Apparently, people are calling it 123 agreement. Saudi Arabia is acquiring advanced American light water power reactors, dual-use technological infrastructure, and an exemption from standard IAEA inspection protocols. The framework grants the kingdom a US-backed 2-year feasibility pathway towards establishing domestic uranium enrichment on Saudi soil contingent upon joining the Abrahamic Accords.
No.
But
no,
I
that's
thought,
a hard
I
no.
thought
Hell no.
I thought Trump said no enrichment. So what the hell?
Maybe that wasn't the final deal, and he's talking about something that's going to change. That's my best deal, man. My position is still hell no.
Hell no. Hell to the no. Is it another song?
It's like, oh, Pakistan has one, India has one. Why can't I have one? No.
Look at this. Donald Trump claimed on social media that the deal forbids enrichment, but the official bilateral agreement signed by his administration includes a provision for a 2-year study to establish U.S.-managed domestic uranium enrichment on Saudi soil. Trump's public statements serve as damage control following non-proliferation backlash, adding a political condition that ties the deal to the Abrahamic Accords, despite the broader allowances in the contract text. Okay, so we need to read more into this then.
Yeah, I stand by hell no. You can't
Hell
just
no.
say, oh, because Pakistan has one and India has one, I want one too. It's like, no. If Pakistan and India jump off a bridge, are you going to jump too? You can't just be like your neighbors. We're not doing that.
By the way, speaking of Indians dropped the ball on this because Pakistan was getting before Pakistan had a nuclear weapon. The Israelis came to the Indians and they had a plan to destroy Pakistan's ability to get a nuclear weapon. And originally they were going to do it, but I think if I remember correctly, the Indians decided to not do it in the last minute. So Israel is responsible for Syria not having nuclear bombs. Israel is responsible for Iraq not having nuclear bombs. Israel is also responsible for the Islamic Republic not having nuclear bombs until now. Israel could have been also responsible for Pakistan not having a nuclear bomb, but the Indians quit. They got cold feet. They just abandoned the Israelis last minute. There was a joint operation plan.
They should have just gone at it alone.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's too far away. I don't think back then Israel had that ability to do this type of operation that far away from their land.
So they probably needed the bases.
They needed the Indians, yeah. I got more super chats, but I got this lovely comment and I wanted to respond to it saying, Armin, how do you do it all? You are amazing and we love you. So I stream 10 hours every day, and after my 10 hours of stream is done, I start working because I have to manage. I have to manage the team. I have to manage the other businesses that I have. So I start streaming stream 10 hours, and after the streaming is over, I start my work. So I appreciate some of you noticing that. It's multiple shows back to back, and how do I do it? Partly because of comments like this. So thank you for that. Partly because this fuels me, and thank you for saying that. Yes, I'm a very emotional monkey. Doesn't like emotional people, but sometimes I'm very emotional. Yes.
I
Okay.
I like flirtatious language, but not it's
Oh my.
weird because I'm super flirty, but I don't like emotion.
Yeah, you don't like emotion. I'm very emotional, guys. I might not show it sometimes, but
But he
very
doesn't flirt a lot.
no, I hate flirting with men. Okay, you seem to like flirting with
We
men.
can't do it with. Listen, there's a lot of this that the guys we're not gay. We just the society changed. We can't flirt with the women anymore.
I love flirting. You just like flirting with men. I like flirting with women. That's the difference.
I can't flirt with a chat that they'll arrest me for being a creep. We can't do that. With guys, we know it's kidding.
Okay, all right. Stick and Beans with a super chat saying, whenever you see two Jews, you know there are at least 3 opinions there. Only 3? I was in Israel. My experience was with 2 Jews, you get 5 different opinions. Yeah, so yes.
Maybe
True,
that's the
true.
minimum.
By the way, that's the minimum. Yeah, that's the floor. Thank you, Stick and Beans, for the super chat. And Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat saying Pakistan useless. Saudi wants civil nukes. Go figure. Oh, civilian. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. So I think that you're right. I think what Flesh Interloper is saying that Saudis realize that their defense pact with the Pakistanis is useless. So they want their own bomb. And you know why you're right, Monkey? Because Mohammed bin Salman said that they want to nuke themselves. They want to have they don't want to nuke themselves. They want to have and nuke themselves if the Islamic Republic gets a nuclear weapon, and we can't have that.
Yes, Fleshy is right. I did hear the king say that.
Yes. And Guy with another super chat saying, I talked about it in depth today. I'm with Monkey. Yes, guys, go share here's let me actually put the link to Guy's channel in the chat.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. You know, he goes in deep and he stays in long. He's going to stay in the pocket and he's going to get to the bottom of it. He goes in very deep into a topic. He stays in there, and you know, he's going to cover it completely. I support this.
Yeah. Yes, so I put even though Guy usually doesn't like my takes, he doesn't seem to agree with me. I will still promote his channel. Link in the chat. It's good for a diversity of opinions. Go support him. Subscribe to his channel. Thank you, Guy. Thank you for the super chat. And then Justin with another super chat saying Trump desperately wants his Abrahamic Accord to become his legacy. It's a good legacy, to be fair. It will change. You know, the only thing better than the Abrahamic Accord, Cyrus Accord. But I mean, if we do get on a Cyrus Accord, it's because we had the Abraham Accord to begin with. It will be built upon that. So honestly, Abraham Accord working is bringing peace to the Middle East. That's what that means, and it's an awesome legacy to have. I can't think of a better one, right? Saying, I'm afraid he's letting that to drive his decisions. I think that explains the MOU. Well, the MOU I still think the MOU did hurt the Islamic Republic in a way that most people don't understand, right? I mean, and I've been explaining it, so I don't know what I mean, look at this result of the MOU, Justin. Monkey was right about this. They got none of the benefits. They got all of the cost, all of the ideological damage, all of the loss of faith, all of the infighting. The Americans got all of the benefit. The Americans got the rest, the restockpiling of the munitions, the basically the time that they need to prepare for the oil reserves, recovering for their lower oil reserves, and anything else politically that they needed. they got all the benefits, and the Islamic Republic got none of the benefit. They didn't get the $24 billion in frozen funds. They didn't get the $300 billion in investments. They sold their oil, and they got none of the money and none of the hay and none of the corn. So they got zero of the benefits. So what's the issue with the MOU? The MOU worked beautifully. And I think the Abrahamic Accord is worth pursuing. It has worked beautifully so far. And if it keeps expanding, it will bring peace to the Middle East. So I do agree with this plan, right?
The MOU also creates the legal framework for the escrow accounts that will end up making the budget for the government in exile. When there is a transitional government, the MOU will be the legal framework used to budget it and to recognize it all across the world. Because they signed it, that gave us a power over their money that is very important. I think a large part of us wanting them to sign that paper is that, like, we now have a legal framework approved by Congress. We have the banking system needed for a transitional. This is like the base legal framework for transitional government is in the MOU. If you want regime change, if you want to recognize an outside force, the MOU was necessary. If you want to take those funds, which is the most important part of a government, if you can't pay your employees, you're not a government. You don't have if you don't have a staff, if you don't have these representatives, and if you don't have money for them, they can't fulfill their duties of office, they don't even have a place to go because you don't have the budget, you don't have a government, right? So you're destroying the IRGC's budget and government offices and all of their stuff, and you're creating the legal framework for the budget of the transitional government. I think that's very important.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I think I confused some people here when I'm talking about President Trump, because 1 minute they're hearing me say, like, President Trump doing something, and I say, I don't like it. This is not good. And then next moment they hear me saying, like, oh, this is a great plan. President Trump is doing great here. I really like it. This is good. I agree with guys. Even if you think I'm wrong about my takes, and I know a lot of you do in the chat, disagree with me on many points, but I hope you appreciate that I'm trying. I'm not saying that I will always be successful, that I'm trying to be objective. Okay. So look past the fact that sometimes I say things that you're like, no, Armin got that wrong. The fact that I praise and then I complain and I criticize and then I praise the same individual on many different things. Like even with JD Vance, that I really, really hate his policies on Israel and Iran. I keep trying to remind people, like, well, I like his takes on Europe. I like his takes on immigration. I always mention that to also remind people that I'm not like black and white. I'm not like 0 and 1. I'll try. I mean, again, I'm not going to be successful all the time, but I try. But people try to put you in a box. They're like, oh, is he pro-Trump, anti-Trump? Well, when I see something I like, I'm going to say I like it. And when I see something I disagree with, I'm going to say I disagree with that. And I think that's the right way to do it. So, yeah. But we got another super chat. Oh, before we get to the next super chat, we got a comment saying, Armin, thank you for reading my post. You made my day. I saw that second comment. So given that you appreciated me reading your comment, I wanted to read the second one as well. So there you go. Tenes, I think, is that how you say it? And we got a super chat, Steak and Beans, saying thank you, Steak and Beans, saying the only ones gonna respect Abraham Accord agreements are the Israelis. The Arabs gonna conspire against Israel behind the peace agreement. Hodaiba. Well, again, I see your point, and lack of trust should always be there. The thing is, in geopolitics, you don't operate based on trust. You operate based on power, stability, and aligned interest. So you don't need to trust these people. If they're getting decimated, if you're their only source of protection, if everybody else cannot protect them but you, then you don't need to trust them. They need you. Okay? They need you. They need to be under the the security umbrella of Israel. They have no other choice. This is out of desperation. They have no other choice. And honestly, if you believe that Israel is, you know, Israel is moving towards the Abrahamic Accord, right? So the Abraham Accord is something that Israel welcomes as well. And if you trust the Israelis, then you have to trust that they understand that this is good for them. Like Israel is aggressively moving towards having a better relationship with the UAE, and they're celebrating their normalization with the UAE, and they consider UAE to be their allies. So I'm not asking you to trust the UAE, but if you think Israelis operate based on good intelligence and they make good decisions, so the Israelis want this, so they must have a good reason for wanting this, right?
I would add to
And
that we don't want to judge them by the worst of their dirkas anywhere any more than we want to be judged by the worst of our blue-haired land whales.
ooh, that's a good one. Yes, we shouldn't generalize Arabs. Okay, we shouldn't generalize Arabs because the Arabs, we have atheist Arabs, we have Christian Arabs, we have secular Arabs, we have Arabs that are genuinely want to be friends of the West. Okay, so we cannot generalize all Arabs. There are many people. They're not. I mean, they're not the majority, to be fair, but there are many people in these countries that are on our side and we should see them. Okay, one reason why I love Israel is because Israel treats its Arab population with a lot of respect, and a lot of Arab Israelis, the 20% Arab Israelis, are becoming more and more patriotic, to be honest, like in Israel, and more Zionists, which is, you know, so
I would also
yeah, I mean,
remember that's the only non-apartheid. Like every other country around it is an apartheid. You're not going to see Jews in the government and of any of the other places. They're not going to hold any government positions anywhere in or any important business positions anywhere. Right? They're not going to have power anywhere else. Every Islamic country is an apartheid. People like to talk about apartheid, but you know, only when they're talking about Israel, the one place that is not an apartheid.
every single Islamic country is an apartheid. The only such a good point. That's a really good way of phrasing it, Monkey. The only country in the Middle East and North Africa that is not an apartheid is Israel, and that's the only one that gets accused of being an apartheid. Very good point. Ooh, Justin with another super chat saying, if that's all the MOU was intended for, then we don't need Arakshi, Ghalibaf, and company anymore. But we're still keeping them around. Why? I mean, I'm in I'm in favor of taking those people out. So you know, I would, if you think that we should have ended them yesterday. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna disagree with that. So I'm
Yeah,
completely with you. Yeah.
don't threaten me with a party because I'll party hardy. Like I'm down there with you. Let's go.
Yes, yes. If you're saying my criticism is that why Ghalibaf Arakchi is being spared now, then I agree. Then yes, I agree. Like get rid of them. Get rid of them now. Fast, immediately. Just let the Israelis do some cooking. You
I
don't
hope
even
that's
need
in
to
the
do
works.
anything. Yes, I hope so. Soon. Maybe Friday. Like if Guy is right and Friday something big is going to happen, maybe this Friday. I heard the Israelis are saying like we're not gonna come. We're not gonna come. If it's gonna be with restrictions, we'd rather not even come. that's right. Israelis are saying like I heard you're inviting us to a war. Well, is it going to be with or without restrictions? Because we're going to stay home if it's with restrictions.
I maintain that Israel is the ace in freedom's sleeve. When freedom needs to be set loose, they're gonna pull that ace out of the sleeve, and they're gonna use their intelligence to start, playing bingo like crazy. I think that's when you do the decapitation strikes. You hold Israel back, and they say, "Okay, now we're doing the decapitation strike." Israel moves in. They have, I think, in the world right now, the ground-based intelligence. You don't want to waste that. You want those assets to move in a way that they know how to use it. And I think that might be what happens. I'm not sure, but I would be very, very surprised if Israel enters the phrase and we don't hear a lot of bingo. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think Arakchi and Ghalibaf are desperately trying to get the Americans to spare them in the third round, right? So they were trying to, I think Ghalibaf, if I was Ghalibaf up until recently, I was trying to get President Trump some of the things that he wants so that we don't go through the third round of this war. But now, if my assessment is that the third round is coming, I am basically on my knees begging like President Trump to give him something. So once the third round comes, like put me on the no-kill list for the Israelis. This is what I would be pushing for if I was Ghalibaf right now. Please, please, when the Israeli fighter jets are in my are above me, please they want to get United States to hold Israeli back on not killing him. Like kill anybody you want, just put me on a no-kill list like before. That's what they want.
But what do you get in return? Okay, you want that? What are you going to give me? What can he give?
I'm gonna be. If I'm Ghalibaf, I've already given you so many people. I give you information about how to get this guy. I give you information about what they're doing. I sold out so many people for you. Nobody else is selling people out to you like I am. So you need
I would
me.
say you're speaking of the past. That is a waste of time. I asked you what you're going to give me. If you want me to hang up, you're going to keep talking about the past. If you want to stay on the line with me, you got to tell me what you're going to give me.
How about the maps to the tunnels of Pickaxe Mountain? How about that? You want that?
Do you have that? Do you have that? Because you didn't even know where Mustafa is.
No, no, I do. That's why. No, actually, you're right. No, I do have that. I do have that. Is that good?
Well, does he have it though? Like, would that be a real statement? Like he would have. If we're playing this game, what can he give? I know one thing he can give.
You can get it. What? What do you want?
So you declare yourself a life lover, right? You want me to spare you. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that from debate day one.
Okay, you want to live, right? You come over here. You tell the world that that's not a real government. That's not a real constitution. That government has had a coup. You can't get to Mustafa. Nobody knows where he is. That's a fake government, and a government in exile must be declared because the Islamic Republic is basically dissolved. No one knows who's in charge. No one knows who's in charge. Everybody is trying to play for power. No one knows where the real power is. And as head of state, as I have been assigned publicly, I declare this government in exile. And then we have the legal framework to do that. Maybe Aragachi comes over and he signs on to it too.
Well, okay,
and
so
then you leave them
that might, if
Russia.
he does that, they will arrest him and execute him, right? So maybe something small, like if he does that,
not if he does it in Paris.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe that would be good. Something in between. How about something in between? How about just come and publicly announce that you lost, admit that you lost. That would be a good.
No, that's not enough. For me to spare your life? No. A little announcement on the TV. You lie on the TV all day. Why would a new lie be different to me? No. I need signing.
So you want him to go to? You want him to run away to Paris?
Yes.
And then I announce. Okay.
How much do you want to live?
But then, what would I have to say? What would be my guarantee that when I come to Paris, I wouldn't be arrested and put in jail for, for
you're the fact that you signed the papers and gave us everything we wanted, and so now we have permission to use our MOU to create a government in exile that's funded. Like if you're giving us the keys to legally go against
the government in exile, you mean like Pahlavi or the surrender period of the Islamic Republic?
Yeah, well, surrender period, Pahlavi, the power to use the MOU to make a transitional government, start that ball rolling. Get past this IRGC exists point.
Okay.
That's the only way I'm letting you live.
He's not gonna do it, so kill him then.
I say we kill him. That was like I said, don't threaten me with a party. I'm down with it. Like, let's take him out.
Yeah, okay. All right. Steak and Beans with a super chat saying Arabs generally saying Muslim, never gonna trust. I judge people individually. If somebody is a Muslim, I will aggressively disagree with their views on Islam, but I'm not going to completely dismiss them as not trustworthy because they're Muslim. There are Muslims that, nominal Muslims who I aggressively disagree with them on their views on Islam because I'm very anti-Islamic. But I do think we have Muslims in our side that are fighting alongside us against Islamic tyranny.
There's some of the stuff I don't understand. When you say Muslim, is that a cultural thing? Is that like a language thing? Because we say Hispanic, but Hispanic can be so many races, but have certain distinctions within it. Is that like you could have Muslims that aren't Islamic? You can have Muslims that are secular. You can have Muslims that are atheist, or Muslim is specific to race, to religion.
No, there's no race.
No, I don't understand sometimes.
So you could be a Muslim that is just prays, a couple of times a day, fast during Ramadan, doesn't drink alcohol and pork, but does have a very low understanding of Islamic teachings or has a misunderstanding of Islamic teachings, and has a good person that might even be on our side against the Islamic Republic, right? But they think Islam is good is because their interpretation of Islam is wrong. Islam is not good. Islam is bad. They're good people, and they think Islam is also good because they believe a wrong interpretation of Islam, but they themselves are good people, and they say that they stand under, like, so for example, we have Muslims who are pro-Israel, right? Muslims who are pro-Israel, and they think Islam is not bad. They're wrong, but they themselves are good people.
So is like Hispanics all talk Spanish, no matter the color they are, and Muslims
wouldn't-
are all kind of Islamic, even if they have varying degrees of adherence.
I wouldn't compare it to like a religious group to an ethnic group, but here's how I would categorize.
No, but Hispanic is language, not ethnic.
Okay, then I must. So no, I'm not talking about a cultural Muslim, because a cultural Muslim is somebody who doesn't believe in Islam, but participates in the cultural activity anyways, right? So I'm not talking about a cultural Muslim is somebody who's not a Muslim, but is just involved in the community and does the rituals and the traditions because he's just too involved in the community to quit that. So I'm not a cultural Muslim is basically somebody who's not a Muslim. I'm talking about actual Muslims. There are different kinds of Muslims, right? There are fundamentalist Muslims, right? Then we have nominal Muslims, and we have minimalist Muslims, and then we have reformist Muslims. But forget, like, we know who the fundamentalist Muslims are. The reformist Muslims, I don't want to explain right now. They're small minority, insignificant. But the main Muslims I'm talking about, which are big in number, are nominal Muslims and minimalist Muslims. So minimalist Muslims are people who believe in Allah, believe Muhammad is the last prophet, believe the Quran is the word of God, but they pray 5 times a day. They self-ID as a Muslim. They fast, they do the minimum. They fast during Ramadan, and they don't eat pork and alcohol. But other than the bare minimum, their lives are identical to a non-Muslim, right? And they didn't read the Quran. They don't know about much about what's in it, and they don't really care what's in it. They're more busy with their lives, but they do the bare minimum to be a Muslim, and that's it. That's a minimalist Muslim. A nominal Muslim is somebody, if you ask them, if you're a Muslim, they say, yeah, I'm a Muslim. If you believe in Allah, they say yes. Do you believe in Muhammad as the prophet? They say yes. Do you believe the Quran is the word of God? They say yes. But their lives are identical to somebody who's not a Muslim. They don't even do the minimum. They're Muslim only by name. That's a nominal Muslim. So these are the categories. I came up with these categories: fundamentalist, nominal Muslim, minimalist Muslim. And I think there's a huge portion of the Islamic world that is nominal and minimalist Muslims.
I think we have this in Christianity. We call them Easter and Christmas Christians. They're only Christian. They only go to church on Easter and Christmas. The rest of the year, they don't even go on Sunday, right? They don't have, like, if you ask, oh, yeah, I believe in God. They don't really know a lot about the Bible. They don't read a lot. They believe it. They do believe it. Like it's not far from their belief, but they don't even understand it, read it. And then we have, I think, what you would call nominalists, like Sunday Christians. Like the rest of the week, they do whatever. But on Sunday,
Right.
they all go and they do the thing, and then they go back home. So I think we have a little bit. We're less violent, though.
Yes, very, very much less violent. But here's the thing, guys. I do think nominal Muslims and minimalist Muslims are also a problem, but it doesn't make sense to be hostile towards them. The problem that they cause is that they're good people. Many of them are good people, but their sheer numbers provides legitimacy for Islam, which is a horrible, horrible idea. Like, Islam is garbage. Muslims, a lot of them are good people. Islam, there is no good Islam and bad Islam. All of Islam is bad. Do we have good Muslims and bad Muslims? But the good Muslims provide cover for how bad Islam is. That's the problem. Good Muslims provide cover because they don't understand it, and they self-ID as Muslim, and because they're good Muslims, because they're good people, they create an impression to the world then that Islam cannot be that bad. Like, imagine if you have a neighbor that is Muslim and they're a genuinely nice person, that they come for you, they come, they help you whenever you need them, they're always smiling, they're always friendly with you. You're going to get the impression that Islam is not that bad. So that's the problem. We should, good Muslims are good people that we need to be good to. We need to be nice to them. But the problem is that their kindness and their good behavior creates the impression for so many people that maybe Islam is not that bad, and that's the problem.
But you also see the reformers as a problem, not as much as the fundamentalists, but the reformers, like, they're trying to like do a new thing, or the
reformers are the worst.
Why are they worse than the fundamentalists?
Because they're active. Because they're active. Because with that, the reformers, Islam would have been over by now. Like, they're actively misrepresenting Islam. Okay, the minimalist and the nominal Muslims, they're not actively misrepresenting Islam, but the reformer is actively misrepresenting Islam and making Islam survive.
So is that like the Taoists that lie about it and try to make it look like it's something it's not, and try to bring people in? Oh no, it's great, we don't do that, we're great people. The ones that lie a lot about it? Or is that what's own thing?
Depends on the type of dawah, right? Some Dawahists are fun. Yes, yeah. Anyways,
I've derailed you again, but I think it was a good tangent.
No, I did it myself. But was that
it
useful?
Was the super chats. That's what did it,
Yes.
and we thank you for those super chats.
Was that a helpful categorization, guys? Let me know if that was helpful, because I think, I was that helpful, Monkey? That categorization for the understanding.
Look, I think the super chats speak for themselves. There is an interest in this topic, and it's just mathematically there.
So Sikkim Bean saying pro-Israel Muslim is taqiyya practice. Take no chance. Not true. There are Muslims who love Israel. Not always. It's not always taqiyya. It's not always taqiyya. Most Muslims don't know what taqiyya is, and many Muslims learned about taqiyya from non-Muslims. Most Muslims have no clue what taqiyya is, and the ones who do know what taqiyya is because non-Muslims told them about it. And I've met pro-Israel Muslims. I agree. Like, Sikkim Beans, Israel proudly has Muslim IDF soldiers that sacrifice their lives to protect Israel, and they don't have to. For military is mandatory for Jews in Israel. It's not mandatory for Muslims, and there are Muslims in Israel who proudly go and defend their country. And you know what? The IDF brags about them. The IDF constantly puts them in front to show other Muslims that the IDF is for them as well.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And somebody in the chat was saying Muslim equals Islam, period. Just because you put a period at the end of something doesn't make it true. Also, if Muslim and Islam was the same thing, they wouldn't use two different words for it. And Sticking Beans with a super chat saying, not hostile, but never trust. There's a difference. I don't even trust myself. It's like, yeah, don't be hostile. So I agree with that. I don't trust anybody, including myself. Okay.
Yes,
but
when
be
it comes
nice
to
people.
state actions, you don't trust France. You check that the deal is going as it should go. When it comes to business, you don't just trust Amazon. Amazon doesn't just trust a UPS. They check each other, right? When it comes to business and states, you have to check each other. You don't just blindly trust. These things have checks and balances. The Abraham Accords has to have checks and balances for it to continue. It's an accord. That means two people have to keep up their part of the bargain, and that's an ongoing check.
Yeah, you shouldn't even trust your allies because all is based on aligned interest, right?
I sure as hell don't trust the UK government.
Okay, Arash with the super chat saying, "Do you think the problem is Islam? In Islam is where the institutions and academia are located and the kind of clergy students they push out. The problem with Islam is Islam itself, is the fundamentals. The problem with Islam is the fundamentals of the Islam. The problem of Islam with Islam is its teaching. The problems with Islam is what's written in the Quran. If you could separate Islam from the, yes, yeah, in what Muhammad did and say and the so-called revelation from God. If you could separate Islam from the Hadith and the Quran, first of all, it's not Islam anymore. That's the only way to fix Islam is to separate it from its teachings. And if you could do that, it's not Islam anymore. Thank you, Arash. Gigi with the super chat saying James Lindsay. Yeah. And I know James. I don't know why I have a problem mispronouncing him. And others revealed milestones. Sayyid Qutb studied Marx, Lenin, Bolshevism, Hitler, and other Western philosophy, trying to craft a movement for jihad beyond even fundamental Salafis. So Sayyid Qutb, in all of his books, including Milestones, he used the strategy of all anti-American forces, but the fundamentals were based on Islam. The idea that Islam is supposed to rule the world and the world of Islam fundamentally has to be at war with the rest of the world that is not Islamic. That foundation doesn't come from Marx, Lenin, Bolshevism, Hitler, or any other philosophy. That foundation comes from the Quran. When he studied these other people, it was a study of tactics in the modern times on how to fight back against Western hegemony, against American power, the global dominance of Western power. This was a matter of tactics, but the fundamental of the ideology comes from the Quran. The fact that you should take over the world, the fact that you should be at war with the non-Islamic world, that comes from the Quran. But you're right. He studied everything else to copy their tactics.
Can I add to this? Thank you, Gigi Ryder. I would add to this that if I'm going, like, collectivism is old, collectivism is ancient, like it's not new. But the Marxist, Leninist, and Bolshevik and fascist type of collectivism, the socialist and communist versions of Marxism and collectivism are some of the worst. And I would contend that because it all comes from collectivism, the jihadi Islamist form of collectivism was the one that meshed best with these. Like, they are the best that work together because they're the most similar. They're the most you have to believe, we will infiltrate. Like, there's a lot of similar traits in Islam in the way they did their things when they were invading and they were infiltrating and they were like, oh no, we're nice people, we just want to believe what we believe. And then they go on to the conquer phase. Like, I see that within Leninism, Bolshevism, and fascism. Like, they're like socialists, no, we just want to represent, and we're being oppressed, and then they switch to face the wall. Like, I would say that they mesh. That's why Islamo-communism has a lot of meshing where it goes. and meshing between Islam and capitalism is a lot more rare. Like you see some of that in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, but it is very rare to see these two mesh. Everywhere else in the world, it seems to be Islamo-communism that work best together because they're the most similar. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an example of aligned interest. Everybody that is not in line with the global order made by United States, Western global world order that we have, that is against it, they find themselves working with each other because they all share the same enemy. So they copy each other's tactics and methods, right?
Well, it's a bit of a question to you because you know their methods and tactics better. So, you being someone that knows about Islam and its history, would you say that the methods from even older Islam is closer aligned to the methodologies of Marxism and communism? Would you say, like, as a person who knows it?
Some of it, yes. Some of it, no. Some of it, yes. But but as Marxism grew and was successful as a bloc against the West, more of it, they started copying each other a lot more. So it wasn't completely the same. There was some similarities, especially Shia Islam has a lot of similarities with communism. But then once Marxism became a global thing, they became more similar because they were impressed by the results of each other.
Like
so
an evil marriage.
Homeworks. Yes. They were copying each other's homeworks, both of them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. We got another super chat by Stick and Bean saying Kibbutzim near Gaza trusted the good and kind Muslims and so in love with them for gathering info towards the October 7th. Okay, so you're saying basically the communities around Gaza that trusted the people in Gaza, that they were kind to them, that they wanted to help them, it backfired. Those same kind Muslims came and did October 7th on them. This is the wrong argument, Sticking Beans, because they were never kind to begin with. And just because those people were kind, I mean, it's hard to find the right Muslims, the good Muslims in Gaza. Is the most brainwashed corner of the planet. So the average non-brainwashed per capita population is at the minimum compared to the rest of the world. So this is an extreme example that you're using as a way for you to make a broader conclusion. If you want to use examples as a way to make a more general conclusion, I could make examples. What about Muslim soldiers in the IDF that Israel is so proud of? Like, you talk about those people, I have examples. What about Mohammad Reza Shah, that was an ally of Israel, that recognizes Israel before many other countries? Mohammad Reza Shah was a Muslim, and an ally of Israel that recognized Israel before any other Muslim majority countries. So Mohammad Reza Shah had good relationship with Israel, and Israel had good relationship with Mohammad Reza Shah. Israel used Mossad to train Savak. Savak was Muslim. Savak agents were Muslim. So what about them? What about Mohammad Reza Shah? What about, do you know that among the more than 50,000 Iranians who died in January 8 and 9 fighting against the Islamic Republic, many of them were Muslim. Many of the people who came out in the streets in the Lion and Sun Revolution against the Islamic Republic, many of them were Muslim. Many of them were Muslim. So what about them? Are we not going to honor them? Are they not on our side?
I would add to that many Muslims will aid us.
Right.
Like, that's just a fact. You can't just blanket blame. Like, blanket blame is dangerous. Then you become like fucking, I don't know, the mirror of Nick Fuentes. You become like so focused on, I just hate these people and will say anything against these people, and not recognize that people are just people, and some people are gonna have a leaning against tyranny, a leaning for their family. that you don't want to become that. You don't want to be so sure of yourself and I've never seen Armin speak like this. Like this is I wouldn't say it's surprising because I know he has a penchant for being exact and being factual about things. We had a little joke about it earlier, but he is more fact focused. And if there is, in fact, many Muslims that came out in the Lion Sun and Revolution against the Islamic Republic, if there are, in fact, people in history like the Shah, who was a Muslim, but turned toward Israel and friendship. If these are facts that exist, they can't be denied. We should use it to prove that we have more on our side than many know, that the success will happen. Now, do you want to convert these people to secularism? Do you want to convert these people away from delving deeper into Islam and becoming jihadist from just a regular Muslim into a jihadist? Yes, of course we want to avoid them going down that path. There's no doubt about that. Would we like to see them, come to atheism or Christianity or Judaism or whatever, Buddhism, whatever makes them more open to having a less hostile, forward-looking outlook for their faith? Yes, we want that. I mean, that's not something that we're going to stop wanting. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, some of these guys are good. We don't want to kill all of them. We want to hope that they come to a better understanding of the world and a better possibility of getting along with everybody else. You can't just go blanket on stuff.
100% agree. Dajjal, by the way, Dajjal, I just made you mod on the chat. Let me know if you saw that. Dajjal is saying, like Armin said, the reformers are the worst because they give it cover. Nominal Muslims also provided cover, even if only unwillingly. I 100% agree with this. The fact that is unwillingly means that they're not individually, they're not our enemies. So if it's unwillingly, it means that we cannot be hostile towards them, right? But I agree with this 100%. And Sarah is saying, it's true, there are some lovely Muslims, but fuck, I hate Islam. I 100% agree with you. I hate Islam with passion, and I've been fighting against it all my life, partly because I care for Muslims. I don't hate Muslims. I love Muslims. And I think that Islam is a disease and they are infected by it. And my fight against Islam is not a fight against Muslims. My fight against Islam is partly for the sake of Muslims, because I think Muslims are the first victims of Islam. Muslims are the first victims of Islam. If you are against cancer, you cannot be against the cancer patient. You are against cancer for the sake of the cancer patient.
Exactly. And I saw someone mention the fact unwittingly. Yes,
Yes,
maybe he misspoke. Just to be clear on the
Oh,
word,
sorry.
like unwillingly is that they are
Oh.
forced. Like we don't think they're forced. I mean, maybe some of them
Sorry.
are, but we're saying that they don't know what they're covering for. Like a free spirit hippie that says believe all women. They don't know that some women lie about what happened to them. Like, you can't just believe all of them. You got to believe evidence. You got to have a process, right? Because then it gets politicized. Because then you start believing all Muslims, and then Muslim starts, I am oppressed. You got to pass laws for me. Like, that's how you go down that spiral. You don't just cover for a group, because then that group gains a power that is hard to reverse. That's why you shouldn't be an unwitting bystander of your religion, your race, your gender, whatever. You have to hold your people to account. There's something that the Hermit King Asmongold likes to say: if you do not police the worst among you, you become defined by them. And I think that's very true. When people in your group do bad things, you have to hold them to account. You can't just blanket, stand by them or be silent about it.
Right. Somebody is correcting me. I said the first victim of Islam was Muslim. Somebody's saying the first victim of Islam was Muhammad after the Al-Zud night. Yes, that's pretty.
That's for. If you look at his childhood, the
Please.
allegations about his childhood, Like he went through, like that's no excuse. A lot of people go through a bad childhood and go on to do great things, but the stories of what he went through, he was probably outzooted many, many times.
Yes, guys, go look at the story of El Zud. It's crazy. Let me just respond to these comments. Amir is saying, Armin, what about the huge chunk of them that endorse the disease? Depends. There's two kinds that endorse the disease. The ones that know Islam supports child rape, sex slaves, violence against innocent people, wife beating, and a whole bunch of other crap. The ones who know it, they admit in their own minds that it's for all of that, and then they endorse it. Then they are, if they know it and they endorse it, then they're part of the disease themselves. But the ones who have a misunderstanding of Islam and they think it doesn't do all of that and they endorse it, then they're just wrong. They're wrong. They're not evil, they're wrong. So that's how I see it. Depends on what their view, what they think Islam actually is. And then we got another comment saying, Armin, that thought of yours will be considered as weakness by the hardcore Islamists. It's the opposite. What I'm saying is actually threatens the hardcore Muslims. By the way, I don't want to call them Islamists because I don't want to separate Islamism from Islam, because I think Islam and Islamism are the same thing, because Islam is political in nature. So don't say Islamists and Islam. It's all Islam. There's no, because when you say Islamist, it kind of suggests that there's a bad version of Islam and there's a good version of Islam. There is no good version of Islam. All Islam is political and all Islam is bad. So if you're talking about hardcore Muslims, they are afraid of what I'm saying because they rely on the good Muslims. I mean, no, real good Muslims. On the good Muslims. I don't know why that air quotes. They rely on the good Muslims to say that Islam is good. There's air quotes. The Islam is good as well. So they use the good Muslims as cover. They use good Muslims as a way to, because they know that their hardcore ideals will not spread. You need to ease a society into it. Okay, so think about it like this. Muhammad had the Meccan phase and a Medinan phase. He brought the Muslims at the beginning. They were like nice and they were all accepting and tolerant. Only when they got larger in numbers, they become aggressive and started to force Islam upon people, right? So the best way to do that is basically to use your good Muslims as a way to make it into a population. This is why, even though I don't consider good Muslims to be the enemy, I think you shouldn't let them in. I think that I think when it comes to migration, you should have zero migration from Islamic countries, including the good ones, because the good ones, I mean, even if they deserve it, but they are basically the way for making an end, so that the other ones, the ones that are going to be the problem, for them to come through that movement, like through in between them. Like that's how they get in. That's how you get your foot in the door, right? But that's the strategy, and the good Muslims are being used by the hardcore Muslims that you're referring to. And I think that me exposing that Islam is bad, even though many Muslims are good, is what they fear the most, right? Because they want, here's the thing, Islamophobia relies on the fact that many good people don't want to be aggressive towards Muslims, and they try to say that aggression towards Muslims, good Muslims, is Islamophobia. But then when they spread it, when they make it into law, then all of a sudden you realize that Islamophobia is criticism of Islam. So the hardcore Muslims would love it if we mix Islam and Muslims together, because so many Westerners were like, yes, let's stop abuse of Muslims, let's stop Islamophobia. And then once it gets passed, once it becomes normalized, once it becomes accepted, then you learn that no, they're not defending Muslims, they're defending Islam. And we need to separate Muslims from Islam so that we could go aggressively against Islam. If you mix Muslims and Islam together, then it's going to be difficult for us to aggressively go against Islam, because every time you go aggressively against Islam, people think that you're being unkind to Muslims, and they remember their nice, sweet Muslim neighbor, like, oh, Armin is against Islam, so he's against my sweet Muslim neighbor, so Armin is a bad person. But if we could separate Islam from Muslims, and then we could demonstrate that our aggressive anti-Islamic position is not an anti-Muslim position, then our hands will become more untied to go as aggressively against Islam. Because we need to, if you could be like, yes, some Muslims are good, and we acknowledge that, but Islam is bad. If you could separate that, then we were going to be more successful in our fight against Islam, because you could show to people that you're not actually attacking their sweet, nice, old hijabi neighbor. You're attacking this garbage book, the Quran and the Hadith. So I think they fear me. They fear me. These hardcore Muslims, they fear me more than the people that attack Muslims. They love the people who attack Muslims, because they're like, yes, the Muslim, if you're aggressive towards Muslims, it's going to bring them into my brain, my ummah, my hardcore brainwashing. If Westerners are nice to Muslims, they're going to get westernized. They're going to leave the ummah. They're going to assimilate. But I want people to attack the Muslims, so they come into the ghetto, the Islamic ghetto, to the community of Muslim, hardcore Muslims. Send them to me, push them away from the rest of society and bring them to me. So in fact, if you personally attack all Muslims and generalize them, that's the weakness that the hardcore Muslims would want and take advantage of. And then, yes, somebody was saying, Mark was saying, Muslims are the first victims of Islam. No truer statements ever uttered. Thank you, Armin. Well, thank you, Mark. I just saw that. Wanted to acknowledge that. And then we got a super chat by Zipgun saying, I'm concerned with the Saudi nuclear deal. All the Arab kingdoms rule over a radical population. They can overthrow these and become like the IRGC. I was in Abu Dhabi last year and experienced anti-Semitism even there. They are, guys, even in the UAE, anti-Jewish hatred is rampant. Like, is hard. This, your one Zipgun, this is exact. We think alike. This is why exactly I think no nuclear nothing regarding enrichment of uranium or anything nuclear related, nuclear energy related research, anything should be happening in any of these Islamic countries, because they're unstable. Okay, well, guys, these Arab countries, they're kind of the opposite of Iran. So in Iran, we have a population of people who want a normal relationship with the US, who want a normal relationship with Israel. They're pro-American, pro-Israeli, pro-normal relationship with the rest of the world, pro-modernization, pro-secularism, and they're against Islamization of their country. Okay, but the Iranian people are pro-American, pro-Israel, but the regime is anti-American, anti-Israel. In these other countries, it's the opposite. The governments of Saudi Arabia, UAE, they want to be close. They want to have a bigger, better relationship with the United States, but the people there are aggressively anti-America and especially anti-Israel. So they many of the people living there hate their own government, and there's a very I don't want to say high, but significant chance of an Islamic revolution in these countries, especially in Saudi Arabia. Well, maybe not in the UAE, but in Saudi Arabia, like we saw in Iran in 1979. So it's a horrible idea to give them access to stuff like this, and then wonder if the population ever there is going to get their hands on it. Imagine if we have the Wahhabis instead of the Saudis ruling over Saudi Arabia. Imagine if we have the Wahhabis ruling over Saudi Arabia, and now they have nukes. It's a bad idea. I completely agree with you.
I wanted to touch on this 1 second. Now, this is the surveys in Iran put the rate of between 47 and 50% leaving Islam. This is not counting the ones who were already atheist, were already like not believing. Leaving Islam, they put the rate at 50%, right? Even more, I would guess, hate the IRGC, even if they are Muslims. But just leaving Islam, 50% in Iran. United States, 23 to 25%. In Tunisia, 30 to 46%. And just Arabs everywhere, like Morocco, Algeria, just a lot of countries, the rate is between 30 and 30% in the youth. There's a lot of the youth that is leaving Islam. I think it has become harder to not know what they support. It's harder to not know about child marriage. It's harder to not know about the slavery that's instilled. It's harder to not come across these imams. And the harder it is, the more the youth start to see it, the more they get repulsed by it. It's harder to be a Muslim that doesn't know what Islam is. And the more that happens, the more Muslims walk away from it.
Yes. It's also true because Iran, it's a function of knowing what Islam is, but it's also a function of having Islam rule over you that made Iranian people want to leave Islam so badly as well, right? When you experience Islam, yes, when you see Islam, when you see it in effect, then like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't look good. Because yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information available. It takes people, a lot of people don't go check it, even if it's available. But in Iran, it's hard not to know what Islam is about because it's being enforced, and that's why the numbers that you pointed out, it's the greatest mass exodus out of any religion in history. Like Iranian people leaving Islam is the greatest mass exodus of people out of any religion in history over one generation, over 40 years. That is insane.
The lowest rate is 20. Like it's everywhere. It's from 20 to 50%, like apostasy. Like 20 to 50% everywhere is leaving Islam. Like even if you go by the lowest rate, it's still a lot because it's mostly the youth that's getting away from it.
Oh, so let me address this. Steak and Bean saying, Armin, you're talking ideas. Cool. I'm talking when walking in the street and meet an Abdul, not trusting him. Sorry, just had enough. Yeah, that's just makes sense. That is just like, that is not, that does not contradict what I'm saying, right? So for example, Steak and Beans, if I'm walking in the middle of the night, like for example, let's say I'm at 2 a.m. at night, okay? And I see a young woman walk towards me in an alley. And then she looks at me and it's just me and her. And then she runs towards the other side and leaves, right? And if I was a woman, she probably wouldn't have done that, okay? Am I going to get offended? No, I mean, if I get offended, that's stupid if I get offended. Statistically, she is like, do I think that she just accused me of being a rapist? Okay, statistically, there's a low chance that I'm a rapist, but statistically, there's a much higher chance that I'm a rapist compared to if a woman was alone with her in an alley, right? So that is just stats. That is the smart thing. She doesn't know me. She's in the middle of the night. If she's profiling me for being a man, she's justified to do that, okay? Because she's being smart. And I shouldn't take an offense to that. And that Abdul guy that you're saying, even if that person is a really good, kind man, he should understand statistics, and he shouldn't take offense to that either. If that Abdul guy is a nice Abdul, but also a smart Abdul, he should understand why you have trust issues. Because it's true. Here's the stats. It's true that most Muslims are not terrorists. But it's also true that most terrorists are Muslim. That is also true. You have to remember the second part. So if you have trust issues, even if that person is a good person, and we could acknowledge that that good person could be a very good person, even though he's a Muslim, your trust issues are justified. So I don't agree. I don't disagree with you on that.
I think we have to acknowledge the low percentage. Like there is a low percentage chance that she was going to rape you. So if you run, we're not going to judge you either. That's the thing that could happen. But don't trust Pablo either. Don't trust Kevin either. When you just need to trust people. They're humans. Don't trust strangers. There's a stranger danger is the thing. Don't just trust strangers, right? like be careful. It could be Karen, it could be Kevin, it could be Pablo, it could be Abdul. Doesn't matter. Stranger danger.
Oh my God. I don't know. Okay, fleshy interloper saying Armin does evil Durka mastermind very well. Yeah, I think I have a doctorate in that by now. Thank you. Thank you, Fleshy. Thank you for acknowledging that. Guys, did that make sense what I said last? Like, yeah, there are many good Muslims, you know. So, for example, if me as an atheist, okay, if I see a whole bunch of not Dirk, like a lot of Muslims wearing Islamic clothes in the middle of the night in one corner, and a bunch of Christians in the other corner, where do you think I'm going to go? I'm going to go towards a Christian. Me as an atheist, I'm going to go towards the Christians. I'm going to feel safer towards the Christian. Now, let's say there are 5 Muslims over there, there are 5 Christians over there. Is it possible that all 5 of those Muslims are very good, kind, nice people? Yes, it's very possible. Very possible. But if I had to choose, I'm going to take my chances with the Christians. Right?
100%.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Okay.
just like I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and I just want to say I know you're a good Kevin. I know you're a good Kevin. Okay, I seen some Kevins that I've seen before. I have Kevins in my family, so we're talking about the stranger Kevin. Kevin, si me estás escuchando, tú eres de los buenos. I have a Kevin in my family, might be listening, so I know he's one of the good ones. So I don't want to offend any Kevins out there. I know there's a lot of good Kevins out there. Okay, and Jose from a group chat says stranger danger is real. Teach all your kids. Yes. Teach your kids about stranger danger.
Oh my God, there was a kid. I saw a funny video. The mom was asking their daughter, the little daughter, is like, what if a van shows up and they ask you to come into the van, are you gonna go? And they're like, no. And they were like, but what if they have candy? And then she thought about like then yes. So like no.
No,
like no. Oh no. It was so funny. I don't like
not
she
even
was, like,
straight. This
so
is a good point.
she
Not
was-
even strangers with candy, chat.
She thought about it for a few seconds, like then yes. like no, wrong answer. Right. It was so funny. It was so cute too. Zip Gun with a super chat saying we don't have apostasy stats for the Arab kingdoms.
Yeah, this is true. This is like
true.
Iran. You have to like go by online rates, the thing that they're saying in the spaces where they have and can talk. Like a lot of these people, of course, they're like, if you go by the official stats, they all love it, because if they don't, they die. So that you can't, of course, you can't go by the official rates, but there are places that they talk about apostasy. There are spaces where you can have that kind of discussion, and you can kind of see the rate at which it grows. There's different stats and AI and all kinds of measurements that you can take to find the apostasy rate. There's a lot of data that goes into it.
The limited data that we had from years ago suggested years ago, like it was above 5%, even in Saudi Arabia. It suggested that based on limited data, it could be more, but it was at least 5%. We also know that when the ones who come to United States, apostasy rates are 25%. Muslims who come from Arab countries to America. Okay. Wow, Sarah. Sarah's saying Armin doesn't. Oh, wait, doesn't give rapey vibes. I wouldn't cross the street. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the opposite. I was like, really? Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, guys. We're gonna go. Thank you for everything. We're gonna be live pretty soon again on Liberty Politics, because we have our discussion group coming up. And let me show you what our discussion group is. Come on. Oh my God, today is open. Guys, today is free for everybody to come and join and talk to me and Monkey. Monkey, will you be there?
Yes, I have to make a little call first, but like as soon as I'm done with the call, I'll be there. And the Monkey will be there.
Okay, so guys, come join our group call. Today is free for everybody. The link is in the chat. The link is in the QR code at the top left. The link is also on Liberty Politics YouTube channel's bio link. When you come to Liberty Politics, make sure you subscribe to Liberty Politics as well. So I will put the link to Monkey's channel in the chat as well, right after I tell you this. You could also just watch our discussion live on Liberty Politics. If you're not going to come to the group call for some reason, I don't know why wouldn't you? It's a great group call. It's a great discussion group, so you should join. But even if you don't, you could just watch us on YouTube on Liberty Politics within 1 hour. And as promised, let's get Monkey's channel subscribe. Okay, wait, I should have just only posted it on my. So guys, I posted it on Monkey's channel as well. But yeah, just but it's okay.
No,
So,
hey, you know,
yes.
they can share it with their friends when they grab that link.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Okay, guys, we're gonna go. See you in 1 hour. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javicha,
Javicha,
Bayande,
Bayande,
Iran.
Iran.
Mwah. Love you guys.